emails so that we can give you every chance to maintain your scholarship. Please check spam and junk folders, check your promotions folders if you have Gmail. Now the surveys, filling out the short surveys weekly, they're a feedback tool and it's how we get better. And it's a scholarship maintenance requirement that's delivered by email. It shows up in your email during the webcast, and in your members area, it's under the new webinar and news tab, but make sure you're getting our emails. Under the tab for week 1, included a document under the, what's with the intro video to the master keys, there's an intro video there. And in that document, under the intro video, you're gonna find an assessment test. So print it out, take the assessment test if you haven't done it already. We direct you to do it in that video, and make sure that you keep it in one of your 3-ring binders. So what is it that's going to astonish you? Well, because you're going to retake that same assessment test halfway through, and again at the end of the course, we've provided a measure for you, and you're going to stun yourself. I promise you that if you follow the Master Key system, like I said, you're going to astonish yourself. Now, while the numbers themselves are for your eyes only, we believe that sharing your progress really helps your confidence. All right, let me introduce our staff. That's me, the fabulous Davine, named by my husband. I don't know why we don't have, oh, this must be a little thing. So I'm the only one you're going to get to know my name. Sorry, no. Right next to me, that's Laurie Enrico. You'll be hearing for her today. And of course, the amazing Mark Januszewski. Next to him is Dave Boswell. She's our COO. Mark says she herds the cats. That's what herding cats is her job. All the rest of us. Bottom row, far left, that's Candy Sheffield. She is our newest staff member, I believe, with the guide staff. Next to her is Arlene Lasky, now a best-selling author, I must say. Next to her, Peaches Land, who's actually in the UK. I am so excited about that. And then next to her is Drew Tim. He just kind of keeps us all on an even keel. And then, of course, our resident white, Brad Van Lannen, who keeps all the techno stuff up and running beautifully. And I love them all dearly. So email communication is for when we ask you to email us a requirement, and we'll give you a specific email for that. So how do we want you to communicate? And we're going to show you how to communicate with us through the software in the members area. The certified guides are in there constantly, and so is the staff. So it's the fastest way to get a question answered. And if you think about it, it helps other people who may have the same question. If there's something highly personal, or you have a challenge that your guide can't help you with, this is the email to use, okay? So make note of that. And just so you know, Mark does not respond to email at all, and he doesn't communicate using Facebook. This is both an orientation call and a teaching call. So we're going to go over some things a few times. Everybody knows that well begun is half done. So we're going to start you off right. We're going to give you a general understanding of the technology that's here so that you can leverage what we've built out for you and the Master Key experience. It's why this Webby runs about 150 minutes. It's just like a college course that meets once a week. So get comfortable, stretch if you need to, get some water, and let's set you up with the agenda. The bottom line is that you showed up to work and you got to learn your support systems. Those are the tools that we're going to use. We'll share with you what you should expect. We'll talk about the blueprint thing from a different angle. For those of you who have never worked with us before, if you don't know what the blueprint is, don't worry about it. We're going to define it very clearly. We're going to tell you the story behind the Master Keys and be really clear about the Mastermind Alliance. Then we're going to help you set up your week and talk a little bit about the blog requirements to maintain your scholarship.
Thank you, Davine. Can you hear me okay?
Thanks, Laurie. Take it away. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Aloha, everyone. It is Lori coming to you from Minnesota. So let's get in now and look at your support system. Now, most of you have probably logged in here and seen this after you submitted your scholarship application, but we're going to take a look together here. It's a fairly intuitive system. And in case you didn't hear, these webinars, like today's and every one thereafter, are going to be recorded for you, and you'll be able to reference them later right in the members area. So navigating here is very straightforward. You notice the circles here, these are the main categories, and it's one long page all the way down. So under this first Start Here tab, this is actually, this little view is a little different. You see step 1, step 2, it's step 3 in the members area. There is a video there, if you haven't watched it, short video that Peaches did. And at the end, she tells you how to navigate this members area. So in case you forget anything I just told you, she goes through it there as well. So watch that short video. But you'll notice all the way straight down the page, go ahead to the next one, Mark. There's just the different categories are listed in bold. You see Start Here. New webinars and news, you'll go down and find audios. Now, when you click on any of these categories that I just told you, there's lessons inside. So you'll see that you can also get back to the categories along the navigation along the top there. And then each lesson underneath the category is listed here, as you can see on the top right here, okay? So it's very intuitive. If you click categories, you get back to this point where you again can see each one of the main headings or categories where your content is underneath, okay? So here's how the course works on a weekly basis. Late on Friday night, Kauai time, the upcoming week gets turned on and then it becomes available to you. So for example, since we're in week 1 right now, you'll see weeks 1 through 9 category. You'd click on that and then you'll see information pertaining to each week that's laid out in a really user-friendly way. Next slide, if you would, Mark. Oh no, this is fine. The first lesson there is entitled Introduction to the Master Key Course. That's under the weeks 1 through 9 category. And you'll see a short video in there that explains this weekly protocol I'm going through with you. Now, make sure you keep the assessment test that's found underneath the video. Davine just mentioned that. It's in that section, and you want to put it in your binder. Okay, the assessment test is also posted under the resources section here, the resources category. By the way, an aside, getting a 3-ring punch is a good investment here because we're having you put things in 3-ring binders. Okay, anyway, each week on Saturday morning, Eastern time, you're gonna go in there and view Mark's video for the week, okay? And print out all the documents. They're always found over on the right side of the page. You're gonna see all the downloads, the weekly Master Key lesson, the webinar outlines, all of those are under files on the right, okay? Each week we add a new chapter to the workbook, and also we make available the next lesson from Haanel's Master Key system. That's the main text for the course. And again, they're under files on the right side of the page. Now, the workbook won't always have a table of contents like you see here, but it's there for the first week, so you can see the general layout and get familiar with the workbook, including where you can find special reference materials that sometimes we include. Certain weeks we've got special reference materials in there. So print them out, put the workbook portion in one binder and the Master Key lesson in the other binder. Under download, you'll also find, as I said, outlines for the webinar, like Mark put this week's also in the control panel, but these are for your convenience if you're a person who likes to take notes during the webcast, okay? The fastest response to questions, I want to address that right now. It's definitely if you ask them right inside the members area. And you can do that below every single video. Every lesson has a comment section like you see here below. And we have a team of guides in there every day. And since this is a mastermind, everybody benefits from each other's questions. So on that note, it can save all of you and all of us a lot of time if you'll just scan the existing questions before you post your question, because it's probably already been answered. Oftentimes you'll see someone else has had the same question. We also recorded audio versions of the Master Key system for you, and those get turned on weekly with each lesson. So one lesson on audio every week to enrich this experience for you. And they play on any device. All right, the last thing that I want to touch on is the alliances section. You see that highlighted here. This is a really key part of the course, folks. Inside the alliances, we're going to be masterminding in there all throughout the course, helping ourselves, helping each other. And in order to make it super user-friendly, we've provided subtopics. And so we'll be adding in subtopics or components along the way. For example, DMP stands for definite major purpose. We're going to be talking about that today. So there'll be a DMP subtopic in the alliances section. Now, it's a massive benefit to you to become a part of this community. So share, reach out, ask questions, help others. And if you do this, you're going to receive a massive benefit, and you'll meet a lot of other brave adventurers like yourself as well.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. So, by the way, before we roll here, this slide is really for the ladies out there in the dark ages. And I'm not quite sure we're out of the dark ages yet. Men sort of took things over, and that's really too bad. Just history. But if you study the myths and the legends and the writing and the hieroglyphics before that, you'll see that the woman was actually deemed Mother Earth. And the woman is the giver of life. And much of the vitality that'll come from this course that you'll experience will come from women, which is really great. But ladies, you're going to read, and most of the material, we're going to see man, mankind, men all the time. So ladies, I want you to make a decision right now to get over that. And there's three ways that you can do it. Trust that they mean mankind and then include you. Or you can do what the fabulous Davine does. She's got a little pen and she writes W-O in front of man all over the place, so it reads woman rather than man. And so you can do that mentally if you want. Let's face it, women are the givers of life, a tremendous life force, and these writers had all the respect in the world for them for centuries. So don't let any of this, political correctness that we're living in right now get into your head and interrupt the flow of information. So if seeing man, mankind, men all the time bothers you, just change it physically, mentally, or just trust that they mean mankind and read for the principles. Everybody knows women are the givers of life. And we're really going to be birthing some marvelous ideas and powerful ideas together. Who better to do that than women? So we're on that subject. I want to knock a couple of crazy rumors out because we want you to have faith in what you're reading, right? We're going to take it for what it really is, and that the master key to success is as a being, okay? Rather than a beast, we want to become beings. And of course, money and other stuff are just extensions of your success as a being. And so let's talk about some of these rumors about spiritual stuff and Bill Gates. The church has banned the master key system. Rumor or fact? It's totally false. No record exists. Now, what happens when some people start to read the master key system, it challenges their feelings of the teachings that they may have got in their religions, and it fuels that rumor. Nick Davis, very important. Why is he important? Nick was a minister, and he was a member of one of our first actually online iteration in 2010 of the Master Key Experience. And we bring him up every year because it challenged some of his spiritual beliefs. And we had a heart-to-heart. And of course, we're in the business of not influencing you here about what to think. We try not to influence the way that you think so that you can learn to think for yourself. And I said, Nick, look, it's fine, whatever you need to do. Anyway, so he left the course, but a couple of things he read in the Master Key system stuck with him. And he came back a few weeks later. We worked through it privately, and he completely shifted his ministry and has said publicly, both in his church and inside the members' areas, that he feels 10 times as effective as a minister as he did. So Nick's advice is that even if it challenges some of the things you've been taught in your religions, just stay with it because it's explained later. And it's definitely going to enhance and enrich your relationship on your spiritual journey with your higher power. Bill Gates read the Master Keys and dropped out of Harvard to start Microsoft. Rumor or fact? It's false. Yet the Master Key system actually swept through Silicon Valley when they went through that explosion with Gates and Jobs. That was no coincidence. Here's the truth. People fear change, and rumors like churches banning the book, it really comes from the same mentality of those who burned books decades ago. As you begin to understand your own mind and you become awakened to the dynamic spirit that you are, and take charge of your mind. The fearful, well, they always do what they always do, and they try to hold back the emergence of greatness, responsibility, spirituality, and of course, change. And see any challenges as confirmation. Now, Think and Grow Rich was a great study that's touched millions of people's lives. My original trainer in 1971, yeah, I'm old, but I'm really young at heart, was W. Clement Stone. Now, Napoleon Hill was neither rich nor famous. Nobody even knew who he was until he met my trainer, W. Clement Stone. But Think and Grow Rich triggered a multi-billion-dollar self-industry, which, by the way, is sort of an oxymoron, right? If it's self-help, why is somebody else helping you? But anyway, the bottom line is that even with the successes I had in business, I was always waiting for the other shoe to drop because they were external successes. I wasn't in the flow. I wasn't living a life of abundance in my mind, which always dooms us. Finally, I committed to Think and Grow Rich, and then eventually Davine did too. She asked me, how are you making all these things happen? I gave her the stuff, and she committed a lot faster than I did. It took me 20 years. It took the fabulous Davine 20 minutes. Anyway, the success that we had as individuals, because we weren't even a couple then, led me to an obsession. I wanted to know, how did this hillbilly know? W. Clement Stone revealed that Napoleon Hill never even had a new pair of shoes until he was like 12 or 13, something like that. Anyway, when he was 21, Andrew Carnegie, who at the time was the richest man in the world, challenged Hill to go without pay and go and interview people and find out what the secrets of wealth were, what they had learned. I was curious how this 21-year-old kid, who was West by God Virginian, really a hillbilly, how did he know what to ask people? Well, as it turns out, drum roll, Carnegie gave Hill, when he accepted the assignment, the book that you're going to be reading with us, The Master Key System. Now, there's a significant difference between this and what we're going to point out to you over and over and over and over again. The illuminated ones, from the Carpenter of Galilee to Buddha, from Nietzsche to Thoreau, from Emerson to Socrates, they all had exactly the same thought, a little different vocabulary, but the thought was really the same. Why did we choose the Master Key System if they all wrote basically the same thing? It's because the Master Key System is the only one with specific daily exercises to do with your mind. You'll discover that first we must get control of our body, then we get control of our thoughts, then we learn how to use those thoughts, and then we improve using those thoughts. Once that happens, you can master key anything. Then you can create anything that you want. We call it keying it. Just key it. Instant solution, instant manifestation of any solution that you need. You can create what you want if it meets this criteria. If it's good for you, takes no one else's good, and it's derived through service, you can just master key it. While you're in this and you're excited, you need to know these things. What you can expect if you let it happen is the greatest adventure on the planet. That's your adventure of self-discovery. Within you lies this most remarkable power, the power to transform. And what you should expect is to identify and claim the field of pure potentiality that lies within you. And so we're going to play a very short clip, video here to make that point, to warm you up to what the real possibilities are with you.
Many years ago in Thailand, there was a temple that was called the Temple of the Golden Buddha. And there was a huge statue of a golden Buddha. And word came to this village where the monastery was that an army from a neighboring country was about to invade. And they got the brilliant scheme to cover the golden Buddha, which is quite large, with mud and concrete so that it looked basically like a stone Buddha, and the army would perceive no value in it. And sure enough, this army rolled in with its caissons and weapons. And as they passed by the monastery, they saw nothing but a big stone Buddha, and they had no reason to plunder it. Well, years went by because the army continued to occupy it, until there was a time in the monastery in the village when no one remembered that the Buddha was golden, until one day a young monk was sitting on the Buddha meditating on his knee. And as he got up, a little piece of concrete happened to crack off, and he saw something shiny. He realized there was gold under there. And so he ran to his fellow monks and said, "The Buddha's golden, the Buddha's golden." They all came out and they realized he was telling the truth, and they took their picks and hammers, and eventually they unearthed the golden Buddha. Now, what's the metaphor here? The metaphor is that each of us is golden by nature. We were born golden, we were born high, we were born knowing, we were born connected to our bliss, we were born knowing truth, we were born knowing everything that every great spiritual master has ever said. We were one with the Christ, the Buddha, everyone. But then we went to school and they said you have to dress like this, and this is what boys do, and this is what girls do, this is what black people do, this is what white people do, on and on and on. And so we developed a casing of stone over the Buddha, to a point where at a young age, maybe 4, 5, 6, or 7, we believed that we were the stone Buddha, not the golden one. And then something comes along that cracks our casing. Maybe it's an injury, a divorce, a financial setback, a governmental change, something that really scares us and bugs us and knocks off a piece of our armor. And only in that moment of the armor being knocked off do you get to look inside and see the gold. And let me tell you, friend, that the moment you see that gold, the armor and the concrete will never satisfy you again. At that point, you truly enter the true hero's adventure, and all you want to do for the rest of your life is pick away the stone, because the gold is so much more fun.
Of course, that's what's going to happen for you here. You are golden, and once you just let go of the conditioning you've had, you're just going to be amazed. And as a matter of fact, there really is proof that the Golden Buddha is no fairy tale. It was a 25-year study. NASA actually proved that. Okay, so in the 1960s, NASA commissioned a study to find creative geniuses. And it turned out that 98% of 5-year-olds tested out as creative geniuses. This is pretty amazing, okay? This is kind of so important. They followed those same kids, right, for 25 years. And by the time they were 31 years old, only 2% of them ranked as creative geniuses. Your genius is actually locked up, okay? This is so important that you understand this. The genius is still in you. If you do the work, you'll resurrect the genius that's in you, and you'll turn it loose on your heart's desire. Just think of turning a creative genius loose on your desire, okay? So the blockade to your discovery is conditioning. We either create our own reality or we copy others. Conditioning begins early when we're in school, just like he talked about. This is what Land said about the schools. When we look inside the brain, we find neurons are fighting each other and actually diminishing the power of the brain because we're constantly judging, criticizing, and censoring. The real problem is that compliance, you can be anything you want to be, but you better follow the rules like everybody else or we'll kick you out of school. Compliance overrides imagination by rewarding convergent thinking, which is competitive and controlling and comparing. By rewarding convergent thinking and punishing divergent thinking, imagination, creativity gets diminished. You're a creative genius and it's just cemented in, but it's still in there, and we're going to go get that for you. So this is what you can expect to discover. You are connected to all truth, all knowing, all wisdom. You already have within you access to a remarkable power, and a creative genius. The way that we want to help you find that is by not influencing you. This is authentic self-discovery versus relying on gurus. Gurus tell you what to think. That's just more cement. The objective of this staff and each and every guide has the same, is to do our best not to influence what you think. That's your part. This is a self-action course, not a self-help course. We're definitely going to want to influence you to take action, to do the reading, to do the sitting and the little scientific exercises that we have. We've been through a lot of work to devise exercises to help you think for yourself, not from the cement, and help you decide for yourself what you're going to allow to influence you and make it stick. We want to help you learn to help yourself by refraining from influencing you about what to think, but encourage you to think for yourself. Our guide's credo is the best influence is no influence around thought, around the exercises to complement what you decide to think. Yeah, we're going to use all our skills to get you to engage in mental exercises so you can create transformation, change. What do you want to create? That's your choice. How to make it stick mentally and manifest effortlessly, that's our job. And we're really, really good at helping people learn to help themselves. That's so important to us. The master key really gets down to one thing: understanding who you are, that you're golden inside, that you're connected to all truth, that you have all the resources you need to create that which you desire. The Sufis have always taught the same thing, that everything we need to have a remarkable, productive, fulfilling life of dharma, meaning purpose, and we all have that within us, and all we have to do is actually master what we all have. Part of that is understanding that you were created for success, but programmed for failure. That's the red pencil syndrome, okay? We don't even think about it. By the time we get to high school and we're going to take our driver's ed test and get our learner's permit, we don't think about how many we need to get right. We start thinking, how many can I get wrong and still get my test? Do you understand how this just absolutely cripples us, okay? Because it's all about fear. It's the teacher who's lazy and marked 6 wrong on your paper with a red pencil instead of 24 C's with a green pencil that is correct. In this red pencil syndrome, we are fearful of getting things wrong. And when you're in fear, you can't access the endless reservoir of incredible truth, wisdom, power, and insight that you were born with. That golden child is there. By high school, we're being told by our parents and teachers what? If you don't get a certain score in your SATs, you won't get into a good school and your life will be ruined. And there it is, fear. So we stop thinking and follow the majority. And what are we doing? We're adding more cement. The truth is that you were made for the best by the best. You were made first class by first class, and you go first class when you get in your best spot. And your best spot is when you are in service to others. You'll understand something in about, I'm going to say week 6 or 7. It'll blow you away. It'll hit you how easy it is to be successful at anything you want. Unfortunately, even though in our mind, intellectually, we understand that we're in our best, we're in service, the red pencil pounding continues. And it's even more challenging today because of smartphones and streaming services. I mean, we're getting inundated all over the place. That is the socio-economic machine that's out there. The educational system, which is actually based on the Prussian school system, which was designed to gear you towards mediocrity, okay? This is the cement, and our spirits get buried underneath it. It's really that simple. We, just like the Golden Buddha story points out, have forgotten our dazzling, powerful, loving, service-driven nature, and our creative genius has been buried under these influencers. A major influence is our schools. Our parents, who are byproducts of the same systems, are operating in your best interest. Yeah, absolutely. But if the context that they're coming from and operating from is about limitation and consumption and comparing, it's not their fault, but it's still cement. Some influencers, let's face it, have nefarious reasons behind the way that they're trying to influence you. Some of them have their best interest in heart. But the bottom line is it's all based on the socioeconomic consumption system, on advertising, and that advertising is based on what? Making you feel less than. When you get this car, when you get that cologne, when you get these jeans, when you get this thin, when you get this strong, when your bicep is this big, when you get a promotion or hit an achievement level, it's going to be wonderful. And this creates fear, or what we like to call dragons. And the cement leads to, actually gives birth to our dragons, our fears. You can expect us. I'm all excited today. I know it's going to happen for all of you that do the work, so I'm really excited you're here. What you can expect is us to help you help yourself break through the cement. Why doesn't everybody live the life they truly want? Well, the truth is most people don't even know what they truly want. Look, we're going to talk a lot about a scholar by the name of Joseph Campbell during the course. We're going to introduce you to Campbell a few times, not to influence you, but you may find a pathway in there, which if you follow it, it's really interesting because it always leads back to that power, that pathway back inside yourself. In essence, he spent a lifetime studying myths that spanned over 4,000 years. And at the very core of every myth, every book, every movie, every metaphor in scripture is the same exact story, which is really the story of the Golden Buddha. That's your hero's journey, you becoming the hero in your own life, right? What prevents us from living the life we want? Why do so many people get tongue-tied when we say, specifically, Jack, what do you want? And we get tongue-tied or give some nonsense esoteric answer. Dragons are a metaphor for those deep-seated fears. So what should you expect here? Expect to learn on your own how to slay your dragon so the victory is yours, how to slay your fears and limitations, and more importantly, how to find and follow your bliss and slay your ultimate dragon, whatever that happens to be. I want you to listen to this little 30-second clip. It really defines it a lot faster, and I hope that you find some value in here.
The real dragon is in you.
And what is that real dragon?
That's your ego holding you in.
What's my ego?
What I want, what I believe, what I can do, what I think I love, and all that. What I regard as the aim of my life and so forth. It might be too small. It might be that which pins you down. And if it's simply that of doing what the environment tells you to do, it certainly is pinning you down. And so the environment is your dragon as it reflects within yourself.
Wow. And there it is in a, it really, there it is in a nutshell. The environment, those influencing you about what to think, is the dragon. What a great way to define the cement. And what we need to do is release ourselves. It's easy for those who do the work here. Get loyal inside the master key system and begin to think for yourself, not merely rearrange the cement. So let's talk about what we like to call the boxes, okay? The blueprint and the master key. These 5 boxes, we have a thought, and our perception of that thought triggers a feeling, and that feeling is what creates belief, okay? So the hardcore reality is that a belief, your belief, really has 2 components. Your perception of something that happened charged with feeling, that creates a belief, and our actions are dictated by our beliefs. Not what we say we'd like to believe, not what we tell other people we believe, not what we think we believe, not what we'd like to believe about ourselves, but what we actually believe inside the habit mind, also known as the subconscious mind, which we affectionately here call subby. Those actions lead to results. That's the blueprint. You're looking at the blueprint there in that blue encircled thing. That's calling all the shots. That's what needs to shift. And you have an opportunity to shift that here. This is not an idea. This is actually not a theory. In week 4, we're going to give you scientific evidence, Nobel Prize evidence that proves conclusively that not only is what you're looking at true, the Golden Buddha true, and the NASA story true, but that better than 95% of your decisions are made by your subconscious mind. And get this, we're actually addicted to the feelings that results trigger, particularly the self-sabotaging ones. Oh my gosh, if you're a procrastinator, what's the matter?
Loud enough, or we're much louder than you.
Okay, now is that better? It looks fine here. Guys hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear.
Great, okay. So we're actually addicted to those results. As you know, let's just take, for maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's overeating, maybe it's not going to the gym, it doesn't matter. But let's say you're like me, you're a procrastinator, and then you go through a little bit of self-loathing afterwards, like I used to, and we don't realize that we're actually physically addicted to all the feelings that come in that cycle. So we have a few good days of not procrastinating, and this is a fact. Every single cell in our body is screaming for a fix, that it's chemically addicted. Your body wants what's known as neuropeptides that are triggered by those feelings of self-loathing or depression or anger. The blueprint is real. It is set, and every cell in your body creates a demand. So we unconsciously repeat those self-sabotaging behaviors. Wow. Okay. So that's the bad news. The good news is, with the master key system and dedication, that's a key word, you can influence your subconscious mind. And if you use the exercises, change happens faster and it sticks. We all have the ability, with effort, to reset the blueprint so the subconscious mind, which is still calling all the shots, is now making different decisions because you've reprogrammed it. And your cells become positively addicted to feelings like joy, feelings of prosperity, feelings of affluence, feelings of keeping promises, feelings of unlimited potential, rather than procrastination, fear, I'm a victim, I'll never make it in anything. So beliefs, which in essence are thoughts charged with feeling, determine our actions. Most people focus on the action box, okay? We've all heard the expression, you're gonna take massive action, which is the dumbest thing that we can do until we've examined the blueprint and what the thought was. Massive action without a change of thought always leads eventually back to the same results we were trying to get away from. And we've all seen this. We make a resolution, we keep it for a few days or a few weeks, months, whatever, and then we're back to who we were. It's like the guy that loses 45 pounds and he keeps it off for, I don't know, 4 months or a year or something like that. But then all of a sudden, boom, he's right back and he's even heavier and feeling worse. It's because what? It's not about his weight, it's about his thinking. Because the subby makes all the decisions. As a matter of fact, it's scientifically factual that decisions made by the subconscious mind are made 7 seconds before your conscious mind even knows. These studies provide some really sad news for people that don't expose themselves to what you are, because they also state there's no evidence of free will, but they held out hope. On this, there is no debate that the subconscious mind is the ruler of our decisions. That means 100% of your success in all areas of life depends on what? Making a change in thought. Wow. Your success, the life that you want, depends on this fact, not theory. Therefore, you want to leverage the material inside the master key system so you can learn how to crack the cement boot. In other words, shed the cement and have decisions driven by your soul, by the golden child within, by the creative genius within you, not the conditioned mind that grown up judgmental, comparing and competing. The exercises will drive it forth. And of course, we have a little set of helpers for you. That's Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's really a metaphor for you. We want to have some fun in here because this is going to challenge you a little bit. I might be dating myself, but J. Stewart Productions was a very clever cartoon company. And they had, in the 1970s, featuring Rocky and Bullwinkle and Dudley Do-Right and so forth. Anyway, It was a moose and a squirrel that were best friends. Anybody remember that cartoon? Anyway, every once in a while, Bullwinkle would say, "Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat." And Rocky would say, "Again," and he'd pull out a lion or a rhino or a zebra, but never a rabbit. The point is, we've got some tricks for your subconscious mind that make what you're leveraging in the material stick effortlessly. So what's the deal with Rocky and Bullwinkle and the Master Key system? Well, it's going to help you help yourself influence your subby so that what the Master Key system explains will open up new vistas of pure potentiality within you faster. You'll find that creative genius faster. We're going to show you some scientific accelerating techniques or tricks, if you will, which is why we're using the Bullwinkle thing, and staying loyal to the exercises, which a 10-year-old can do, will make the lesson stick faster and eventually become effortless. And you'll be able to, within 6 months, okay, usually within about 90 days, it starts to begin, you can key anything you want, right? That's just an expression we use. In other words, leverage the tricks, just apply the Master Key, boom, instant turnaround. The hard part is understanding the value of the childlike habits. They're going to seem below some of you. While some things may seem childlike to you, crayons, cartoons, trust us. There's a method behind the madness because you were more open then, and we want to bring you into that state of mind. So I'm imploring you, release your judgment mind and become a discover-it-all rather than a judgmental know-it-all. So Haanel shares in the first lesson, the world within is a reflection of the world without. Within lies the power to generate courage, hope, enthusiasm, confidence, trust, and faith. Okay, let me say that again. It already lies within you. Let's go get it. Over 4,000 before you have learned to do it. Possession equals consciousness both ways. You'll find yin yang all throughout Haanel's writing. The laws that he shares with you work precisely, and they work both ways. It's not relevant to the law. Good application, good result. Bad application, bad result. The law works. He writes, gain is a result of accumulative consciousness. Loss is a result of scattering consciousness. His point, you can't cram for this course. It's the little things that you do day in and day out, okay? You take care of the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves. You can't cram for this on Saturday for the upcoming week. The red pencil syndrome, encouraging compliance to fit in, has our thoughts scattered. Buy this car, lose weight, gain weight, get a bigger body, get a smaller body, wear high skirts, wear lower skirts, whatever. Always manipulating. Be a sensitive person. Don't be so sensitive. We're inundated with mixed messages driven by hidden agendas, and it's all so confusing. This confuses us, and we don't even know where to start. So what do? We follow the pack, and we live a reactionary life that's judgmental. We just try to sort out other people's ideas, and that's just really, when you think about it, it's just it's just changing chairs on the Titanic. So I want you to really focus, okay? Look, there's no debate. It's all about thought charged with feeling. Davine's going to talk about this a little bit more, but you have something that no other animal or life form on the planet has, and that is the option of attaching any feeling you want to any experience that you have. This is an experience for you. This is a privilege that you have, rather than an automatic reaction. You can attach any feeling that you want to any thought. That's the law of dual thought. That's what's going to build belief. In other words, that's the new blueprint that you'll build, replacing the one that's there. That's what's calling the shots, because we are to the extent that we do, right? Make sense? We are what we do. We are the decisions that we make. In other words, we do what we really believe, not what we'd like to think we're going to do, not what we hope to do, but what we really believe. In other words, what's in the subconscious mind, we do what we believe and we believe what we think. Therefore, what? We are what we think. Oh my gosh, get off the action box and commit. Why? Because while you've got a problem, if you truly want change, there is a solution, just like there always is in life. Once people learn to think for themselves. So the problem is the action box. We want to change the action so the results will change. And the solution is the Master Key System, Inside Think and Grow Richer, especially one of the follow-up books written by Mr. Stone and Napoleon Hill. They outline the 17 principles of achievement. The bottom line is 4 are always present. DMP, okay, which stands for definite major purpose. 95% of the people that Hill interviewed don't have one, okay? And they live lives like I was living, of quiet desperation. 5% have a definite major purpose. We're going to work on that today. A positive mental attitude. You're going to learn in this course how to have a positive mental attitude. And it's not quoting things by, you know, Les Brown and Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins. I don't know if those things have any value, but they're really just sitting on the old blueprint. We quote these cute things, we post them up on Facebook or whatever, but nothing changes, right? You're going to build a positive mental attitude from within that's effortless, not layering quotes on the old blueprint. The Master Key experience will draw that out of you. You were intended to be this incredible, dazzling light. The master teacher said you are the light of the world, not you will be the light of the world when you do X, Y, and Z, but you already are, period. Our shimmering light has been cloaked by other people's ideas and agendas of what is normal. Yep, cement. Should you decide what your life means and says? A perfect plan, which is the 4th of the 4 components that's always there, you need that. The Master Key experience effect is that you will find, define, refine, and perfect a plan here. You will have a perfect plan by week 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there of this course of what to do daily in the areas of your life that you want to transform, because you can design it by using the Master Key System. And a mastermind alliance, that's the 4th thing actually. We've got your back here with the guides and the community. So what is your definite major purpose? We call this DMP. Everything starts with earnest desire. One of the great things that my wife did and still does today is this. She uses a dictionary. Don't be slothful. If you think you know what earnest means, look it up. In other words, here's the barometer for you. If you could not define that word so precisely that you would bet everything you own on your definition, including the people you love in their lives, then you need to look words up. That's how precise you need to be. We cannot overstress using a dictionary. Get into your imagination. We'll bring you through that, but start with these metaphors. We have a couple of metaphors that we carry sometimes for a few weeks and sometimes for the whole course. This one is for the whole course. Think of your future as a movie. How does it end? What does it look like? You're looking for the financing, in other words, resources, mental support, change in thought, money, whatever, just like anyone else that's trying to create, sell, and produce a movie. In essence, your movie, listen to me now, is your autobiography from this point on, okay? Now, all movies start with an idea. What do you want the hero, that's you, to experience? Is it really heroic to get your credit cards paid down to 0? That's not heroic. That ain't going to sell in Hollywood. Nobody's going to go to see that movie. What do you want your movie to look like? What do you think it will feel like? And most importantly, how is it going to affect others? I know you might be thinking, me write a movie? Well, here's a big truth for you. You've been writing a movie every day of your life. It's just been based on the conditioning or the cement that you have. We all got mired in the momentum of mediocrity. That ends right now. Look at, you've made choices based on conditioning, based on the cement. And like most people, and I was certainly like most people, I was changing chairs on the Titanic. You know, gee, if I drop the dry cleaning off in the morning instead of the afternoon, I can make a couple more sales calls. I kept rearranging the cement. Create from your heart. Listen to your heart. You'll learn to do that here. Use this experience to discover what your heart's desire is, because it never lies. You'll have several opportunities to do that. That's what we want for you. Why? Because the majority of mankind lives in the world without. That's the action box. Very few have found the world within, but it's the world within that makes the world without. It is therefore creative, and everything which you find in your world within has been created in the world without has been created by the world within. You've written your movie up to this point. With the master key system, you get to bring yourself into a realization of power, which will be yours when, listen to me now, when you understand the relationship between the world without and the world within. That's all you really have to do here, because once you get that, it's game over. None of the nonsense will distract you anymore. The world within is cause, the world without is effect. To change the effect, we've got to change what? The cause. You will at once see this as a radically new and different idea. Most people try to change the effects by working on the effects. This is what Hal wrote. In our case, we're calling that the action box. They fail to see this as simply changing one form of distress for another. To remove the discord, in other words, the self-sabotaging behaviors, we must remove the cause, okay? If you're overweight, it's not about eating less, it's about changing the thought. We must remove the cause, and this cause can only be found where? In the world within. It's not the people in your life that aren't behaving the way that you want them to. It's not preventing you from having the life that you want. It's not the prospect that rejected you. It's not the people that aren't coming into your shop or whatever. It's you and the way that you think. And that's the good news, okay? So, in other words, your DMP, definite major purpose, is going to become your blueprint or script, if you will. Think of your mind like a garden. Ladies and gentlemen, please embrace these metaphors because they'll carry through, but more importantly, they're pictures. Start thinking in pictures. The subconscious mind is photogenic. And once you see it over and over and over again, the picture you really want, the subconscious mind will go get it for you, okay? You're going to get a new blueprint, and you're going to create and perfect it in the next few weeks. A new script for your life. Key point, when writing the script for your life, don't give the pen to anybody else. We've included Hill's chapter on desire and DMP in the workbook if you need it. The DMP, definite major purpose, that Hill models for you, he talks a lot about money, so don't say, I'm not all about the money, okay? Don't miss the point. Money is just a metaphor for resources. You're going to create a brand new reality for yourself. Write it out and read it daily. Davine will give you some instructions on this. You're going to read it 3 times out loud with enthusiasm, because the subconscious mind has no defense against your voice. And that thought that you wrote down, charged with feeling, creates belief. Again, subby has no defense against your voice. It believes you. In the meantime, you want to get the garden ready, okay? That's your mind. Let's prep our mind with what we call the blueprint builder. That's also in this week's workbook. You want to read it every day out loud with excitement. Remember, thought plus feeling is what leads to belief that triggers different actions, okay? You're not going to will yourself into different actions, but you can use your will for the only thing it was intended to be used for, to will your thoughts. Change your thoughts, your actions will change. Make reading and reading out loud a habit. It'll take, by the way, let me dispel this big lie. It takes 21 days to develop a habit. It takes about 21 to 28 days to establish the idea of a new habit, another 30 more days to solidify it, and another 30 to internalize it so it becomes who you are. In the meantime, you must decide, make a decision to override that old blueprint. If you resist and say, this isn't going to make that much difference, I don't need to read it out loud, and you sort of maybe read it a little bit, or you just don't read it out loud, or you're mumbling on your bed so nobody will hear you. That's the old blueprint, and declare, I'm not going to let the old blueprint steal my future. Because if you give into the old blueprint, your future will be like your history. I already know what it can do, because whatever you have right now, that's what the old blueprint has done. You want a different outcome? You've got to charge that blueprint with feeling. The life you desire depends on it, not the life that you actually have. Whoops. Here. Okay. Okay. Heads up. Okay. This is important. We're training our brains. This is a heads up. We are what we think. Since we are, we must learn how to think differently. And you'll be getting lessons about that power that you already have from Haanel. For us, you'll be getting exercises in science to accelerate the applications of the conditions and conclusions that you want and that you draw. When you see this guy right there pointing to the brain, heads up. The greatest mechanism on the planet is the brain. And odds are, if you're anything like I was, you know more about your remote control and your smartphone than you do about your brain. That's going to end in this class. You're going to get an education on your brain, and you're going to love it because you're going to learn, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, what's sitting between my ears can change my world, not just the trajectory of my life, but it can manifest my heart's desire. In the workbook, you'll find the blueprint builder. You can see up there on the screen, there's nothing on that blueprint for a reason. You're going to design your blueprint, but you have to know how to put a blueprint together. So write out the blueprint builder by hand, and then at the bottom where it says I sign this, right? And just above your signature, right? I always keep my promises. That's a key phrase. And then sign it. And you read it at night. Read both the promise and your signature out loud with enthusiasm. You train your brain. You need to train your brain to always keep your promises. This will link into the subconscious mind, which will create a completely different experience in your subconscious mind. And I want you to read with conviction. Don't be afraid of this incredible power that you have within you. Attach feelings of faith and optimism while reading. Okay, so I don't read it like this. This is the blueprint builder. Whoops. Okay. This is the blueprint builder. I promise, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite. No, you don't read it like that. My definite major purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself. No, you read it like this. I promise. First, I know I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite major purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of my. You need to read it like you're on Broadway, man. It's awesome. Okay. So believe, right? Believe what the people you heard in some of the videos told you. Believe what we're telling you. Believe what Haanel is telling you. And this is just a great thing to say to yourself. I'm going to be able to access a power and create the world that I want. That's a killer for the old blueprint. First, we train our brain that we can build a new blueprint with the blueprint builder. Then we create a new blueprint over the next few weeks and drop it into this now nutrient-dense garden, this freshly tilled soil, this newly receptive, fertile mind. But first, we need to create the habit of reading the blueprint builder. Now, why is that? Well, you'll find this in the first scroll of The Greatest Salesman, which you should read out loud tonight, scroll 1. We're only on scroll 1. Okay, we're going to read that through the 30th of October, 31st of October. And Og Mandino writes, and what will be accomplished by this habit? Herein lies the secret of all man's accomplishments. As I repeat these words, they will soon become part of my active mind, in other words, your conscious mind. But more importantly, they seep into my other mind, the mysterious source which never sleeps, creates my dreams, and often makes me act in ways I do not comprehend. The mysterious source, of course, is the subconscious mind. So directed with compelling emotion. So the master key system plus work equals a new blueprint. The 504 that he'll study in Think and Grow Rich sat every day for ideas, from 30 minutes to an hour and a half every day. Read the master key lesson every day and do the minimum we suggest or a little bit more. Do the reading daily, and at the end of each master key lesson, in other words, we're all on lesson 1 this week. It's only about 4 or 5 pages, okay? So you read that, and then at the end, Haanel is going to tell you what to do with your mind and with your body. Sit completely still for 15 minutes every day. It's a progression. Easy for some, hard for others. Got an itch? Deal with it. Leave your cell phone off and leave it in another room. You cannot move. You need to control yourself, because the first thing everybody learns is that if we can't control our body for 15 minutes, we'll never control our mind. And since that's the only thing that we have control over, and that's what creates the world without, okay, you got to begin by getting control of your body for at least 15 minutes before we consider controlling our mind. Highlight, star, underline, whatever. Reading this in a book, it's not enough. Make sure you print out the lessons and put them in the binder like Lori said. But the passages that resonate with you, highlight them, whatever. Okay, I like highlighters and underlining. That's why we want you to print these things out and put them in one of the two binders, one for the workbooks, one for the Master Key System. I'm telling you, everybody will tell you the same thing that finished. It is priceless. It's a priceless possession of yours. Notice if you're resisting that, okay? That's the old blueprint. Kick its ass. By the way, these experiences you go through, the struggles you have, some people struggle with sitting still, others don't. The ones that struggle with sitting still seem to do great with other exercises and vice versa. Don't worry about it. If you do what he tells you to do every day for 7 days with the exercise for that week in your mind, you'll get better. And by the way, these are great things to blog about. It's new, okay? You're going to be in school shock at first. You'll get it. Override the BS from the old blueprint, or well, this is hard, or doubting that it's going to work for you. Dig deep, laugh at your resistance, and see it for what it is. Don't be an American at this point, okay? And I'm not a political guy. You know, Americans want three things when they want change. They want it to be comfortable, they want it to be convenient, they want it to be instant. Build a bridge and get over it. You know, as Davine likes to say, put on the big boy pants. And the winning pattern is knowing this. The difference between knowing what to do and doing it is whether or not you schedule it. And if it isn't written, it isn't true. So tonight, right now, schedule in writing for tomorrow night or later tonight, depending on where you are, or tomorrow morning, a time that you're going to write your definiteness of purpose. It's just the first draft. Don't worry about it. We'll get into some detail later in the webcast. Everybody knows the winner's simple pattern. Winners simply don't make commitments that they don't plan to keep, and they keep the commitments that they make. Start putting your commitments in writing and write, I always keep my promises underneath those commitments, and sign your name. And so when you write it in your book, whether it's an appointment for something you're doing for this, or whatever, so you're going to read what you wrote and read, I always keep my promises, Jack Healy, right? Read your name, okay, underneath those commitments. If you do, you're training your brain to do it. How do I know that? Because you haven't done it before. Since it's a different experience with the subconscious mind, it's not going to make a decision. You direct it. You train your brain. You're always training your brain. So let's just do a quick mini review here as we're about halfway through. Tilling the soil in your garden. This is really the preparation for the new blueprint, the new seeds, that movie script that you're going to write about how your life is going to go moving forward, how you want it to turn out. Read the Master Key Week Lesson 1, right? It's in the members area, and sit for 15 minutes as directed by Haanel. This is 7 days a week. Read, sit, and think, okay, every day. Read scroll 1 of The Greatest Salesman 3 times a day as directed in this scroll. He gives you the directions, including the last time out loud. This is critical. And read your definite major purpose out loud once you write it, last thing at night, along with The Greatest Salesman. Read your blueprint builder out loud twice a day for 2 weeks, and then we'll roll it back to once a day with the blueprint builder. Read with emotion, unbridled enthusiasm, charging those new thoughts with feeling to create new beliefs. Obviously, it's easier if you group them together. So what I do when I get up in the morning is after I hit my knees, I read my blueprint builder, I read my definite major purpose, then I read The Greatest Salesman, then I read the Master Key lesson, and then I sit for about 20 to 25 minutes. 15 is fine. You can combine these things. And by the way, if you think I'm going kind of fast, these are all outlined for you in the workbook, okay? Ask questions in the members area. So like Lori said, everybody benefits. Your guide may have some pointers about how they did it, and try a few different combinations out, but feel wonderful, because subby's got no connection to this. You can attach that a good feeling to it. Make this a new experience and decide how you want to feel about it. So feel positive, feel optimistic, feel happy, whatever. Charge new thoughts with feelings. No one's watching. feel, okay? Your subconscious does not know what to do with new experiences. So have a positive feeling going in, saying, I'm making a great choice for myself. I'm taking control of my mind. Be excited. Push yourself into enjoying a new, different experience. Look, we've done this for years, and don't be too cool for school. Yes, there is a cultural shock coming for a lot of you the first few days, or a few weeks even, if you're like me, okay? Being in a basic master's college course, that's really what this is. But we also know if you override the old blueprint and decide that this is what you're gonna do, you make that decision, you're gonna do this, okay? You'll quickly adjust and you'll get comfortable quickly. Give yourself that gift of knowing, like anything new, there's an adjustment period and an organization period. These assignments are for 6+ months. You become self-directed, not guru-directed. The point of this course isn't that you think, oh, Davine's so fabulous and the guides are so wonderful, or Lori's amazing, or Mark's unbelievable, but that you understand how incredible, unbelievable, and fabulous that you really are. And that's balanced out with some humility that you'll get, because you're going to be absolutely stunned and bewildered by the incredible gifts that you have that you just didn't know you had. You know, if you've been through Think and Grow Rich with us before, we have two types of people that have been through that course with us. Either way, begin again and new. If you haven't done that with us before, it doesn't matter, okay? And you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it, okay? There's no bad habits to break. You have a clean slate. The blueprint inside, that's what we're after, that combination of thought plus feeling. Each of us is creating a new dynamic that's vitalized, a brilliant a reality. Why? Okay? Because our thoughts determine our actions, and our words express our thoughts. Let me say that again. Our words express our thoughts, okay? So it may seem like the guides who you'll submit your DMP to are breaking your chops a little bit and being picayune with little things, tiny things about language, but you need to get this. It's actually about 5 or 6 passages out of lesson 15. It's critical that you understand this as you write your definite major purpose, because you're probably going to get yours back many times telling you to add this in, take that out. What does this mean? Change the tense. And like I said, it'll seem like they're nitpicking. Here's why. In sentence 15, Haanel writes, we cannot escape from pictures we incessantly photograph in our mind, which is what you're doing when you're reading your DMP. This photography of erroneous conceptions is exactly what is being done by the use of words when we use any form of language which is not identified with our welfare. So the things they're asking you to do are making sure that the words you're choosing are in line with your welfare, okay? You actually have a chemical addiction to what does not work, and that's simply because you've chosen the wrong words. In sentence 16, he goes on and says, we manifest more and more as our thought becomes clarified and takes higher planes. This is obtained with greater facility as we use word pictures that are clearly defined. It is the words it is with words that we must express our thoughts. And if we are to make use of higher forms of truth, we may use only such material as has been carefully and intelligently selected with this purpose in view. So they're there to help you get that lined up. This is a wonderful power of clothing thoughts in the form of words, is what differentiates man from the rest of the animal kingdom. By the use of the written word, he has been enabled to look back over the centuries and see the stirring scenes which he has come to his present inheritance. We know that the universal thought has for its goal the creation of form, and we know the individual thought likewise forever attempting to express itself in form. And we know that the word is a thought form, and a sentence is a combination of thought forms. Therefore, if we wish our ideal to be a beautiful or strong, here comes for me the bombshell. You got to get this. We must see that the words out of which this temple, in other words, your definite major purpose, will eventually be created are exact, that they are put together carefully, because accuracy in building words and sentences, listen to this, I love this, accuracy in building words and sentences is the highest form of architecture and civilization and the passport to success. Your temple, in other words, your movie, your new reality is going to affect hundreds of people, and that's going to affect thousands of people. We're building, think of this, we're building a blueprint that is a bridge from where you currently are to that new reality. And the language must be as perfect as the blueprint of a real bridge. On that bridge, lives are at stake. In this case, your new blueprint is your new life and the lives that you'll affect. Your new blueprint is your movie, your autobiography moving forward. This is your life. Be excited about that, okay? So we're going to have lots of sevens in this course. You'll notice things seem to group in seven. If you understand anything about Eastern culture, you already know why, but it's really not important. You'll discover the 7 ways people learn, so you become a great teacher of yourself to yourself. You're going to learn about the 7 laws of the mind in a lot more detail, and the 7 spiritual laws of success, as well as several others. We'll go over them in detail, a few at a time, and show you their application so you can make changes daily in your life now. But the first thing we need to focus on is your definite major purpose. Please remember, okay, perfection is just a sophisticated form of procrastination. As Devine shares a few tips on writing your definite major purpose, remember that it's a process. I think you're muted, honey.
Thanks, Marky. I couldn't find the control panel. Oh, thanks, everybody. So, in terms of writing a definiteness of purpose, this is a process, and it's on a totally different level. Now, not a better level or a harder level, it's just a different level. And we're going to focus on the law of Dharma. A Dharma is a Sanskrit word, and it has many meanings, one of which is the purpose in life, coupled with the belief that we've taken on a physical manifestation, our body and our life, in order to fulfill a purpose or fulfill a dharma. The being that you are has a purpose. The dharma is the perfect, all-encompassing word to describe your purpose. What is your purpose? That dharma or purpose is to be expressed with your unique gifts. That's what it is to be living a life on purpose, and thereby living a life of purpose while simultaneously abandoning ego and abandoning fear. When we focus on accomplishments rather than dharma, what are we avoiding? Okay, accomplishments are things like paying off your credit cards early, paying down the mortgage, hitting a PIN level or an achievement level, focusing on a new car, maybe it's a job promotion. These things are great stuff and we celebrate them. But by focusing on these things, you're avoiding focusing on your dharma and finding out what your dharma is, your heart's desire. The accomplishments are just too small and full of mini dramas. Just as you heard in the Campbell clip earlier, those things on the left are sort of cement. We want to think bigger now. Let me be clear here. When I say bigger, I'm not talking about money or acquisitions, though that may be a byproduct of thinking bigger. I mean what your life says, the legacy of you as a human being, and the lives that marvelous spirit you are touched, moved, influenced, and more importantly, enriched by its mere presence. What we want to do is focus on Dharma, or DMP, definite major purpose. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's mission work. You want to find love, or painting an amazing home and family, or traveling adventurously. It's learning what your bliss is and then following your bliss and focusing on that through the master keys. You have at least one unique talent, and you have a unique way of expressing that talent, And you do it better than anybody else on the planet. This is truth. And you, and for every unique talent out there, there's also a need. And when we match the need with the talent, the creative expression of that talent, it's what's going to spark affluence. It's that which is going to spark creative affluence. And if you focus on that through the Master Key experience, you're going to create an unlimited wealth in all 13 areas of life, all 13 areas of life, and unlimited abundance by focusing on the right thing, which is you living your dharma, your purpose for being on this elegant planet. That's what we're talking about here, creating all those things, those accomplishments that are on the left-hand side. If you focus on those, if you focus on your dharma, guess what? Those are going to happen anyway. You don't have to worry about it. So you're going to be thinking bigger now, not what the world thinks is big, but big in that you have a purpose. So your DMP not only has to be focused on the Dharma in your life, but it also has to be under 300 words. So you're living a life on purpose and with purpose, but it's going to be focused, laser focused and clear and under 300 words. And if it's not, you're going to get it back. Oh, did I mention you'll be writing your DMP this week? Your first draft. We're getting right to work, people. But relax. This is a process, and you've got a guide dedicated to you finding your purpose. If you write your DMP and send it in, you'll get your guide. And I want to give you a promise. I promise that, like all completers of this experience, the Master Key experience, if you focus on your purpose, live with your purpose and on purpose, all those things on the left are going to happen, and more than you ever imagined. It did for me, and it's going to happen for you. It's time to release these things on the left by recognizing them for what they really are. They're distractions to your purpose in life. They're not the measure of a life. And once you find your purpose and live it, all those things resolve themselves almost instantly. You've got more meaningful things to affect. So what's the key to the vault? The vault is a life based on purpose or dharma. It's your heart's desire fulfilled. It's your bliss. When you're writing a DMP, the key is defining specifically what you desire. We're going to paint pictures with words. We're going to use dates, exact amounts, and precision is imperative. Whether it's money, home, travel, whatever it happens to be, it has to be precise. So that when I or somebody on the staff reads your DMP, we are able to clearly see what this person's dharma is. What is their bliss? There's got to be feeling, and there's got to be sacrifice. What are we willing to give up or overcome? Now, there's an old saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So what's the sacrifice? What are you giving up to move up? And in terms of sacrifice, it's not doing what we're already supposed to do. So things like train a team, hand out information, things like that, showing up on time, being kind, promising to do your job. Newsflash, you're supposed to be doing that anyway, right? Here's another old saying for you. You don't get a pat on the back for doing what you're supposed to do. Fulfilling job requirements is not a sacrifice. And please, I beg you, please, do not write, I'll do whatever it takes. You know, if we see whatever it takes, or everything I want, or I want to do what I want with the people I want, anytime I want, if we see that, it's going to come back. All the guides are going to stop reading when they see that, because that means nothing to your subconscious. Avoid these types of phrases. If we don't pay the price for success now, we must surely pay the price for failure later. If we don't pay the price for success now, we must surely pay the price for failure later. I really want you to think about that. The price of success is always found in some form of sacrifice. What are we going to give up to move up? It's about letting go of things that aren't working, giving up or overcoming what's in your way. And we do that in moderation because it's got to be something of value, something that's going to build that burn. So here's an example of not a good sacrifice. One of our daughters, Chelsea, she used to give up vegetables for Lent. That's no sacrifice, you guys. You know she didn't like vegetables, and that's not going to get it done. It's not that you would give it up. It's not something that you were going to give up anyway. It's got to be something that's going to build the burn inside your desire, inside your purpose. Deciding to read and let go of TV shows you like, that's a sacrifice. Here's a great example. Marky, he loves football. But when he decided to go for it all, which all of you today are doing on this call, you're deciding to go for it all. So when he decided to go for it all, he picked just 3 games for the entire year that he was going to watch, giving up 6 or 7 hours on Sundays. And he replaced that with the tasks that draw his purpose to him. Give something of value for the greater treasure. The next step with your definite major purpose or dharma is that you're going to read it out loud with enthusiasm. Now, Hill teaches us in the Think and Grow Rich study that unwillingness to use auto-suggestion, I'm quoting you guys, listen to this. Unwillingness to use auto-suggestion explains why so many people go through life in poverty. Smack your head like a V8, will ya? That's huge. That's enormous. Reading your DMP out loud with feeling and enthusiasm is going to drive it deeper, because thought charged with emotion and feeling is going to drive it into your subconscious, creating a new belief, which creates different choices and then different actions. Now, Marky, way back when, Marky used to read his DMP out on the back porch when we lived in Haverhill, Massachusetts. He'd be out there crack of dawn, waving his arms, yelling. He was really into it. And he was really injecting enthusiasm into his DMP. And one day, the next door neighbor came over, which was very unusual. And she asked me, when are you guys moving to Kauai? And I was a bit stunned. I didn't know she knew. I said, we have June 2012 as the date. And she said to me, I really wish you guys would move sooner, because hearing Mark yelling every single morning out on the porch, and he's really great at it. So as you guys know from the webinar, Mark can get really enthusiastic about things. Can you? Your future depends on it. It's the toll you must pay for your dreams. And if you're like me, not the kind of person who's going to yell it out and get really enthusiastic, waving arms, yelling, etc. I'm not going to do that. Then you can be like me, get alone and use the HEM technique to generate enthusiasm. So what's HEM? H is for hesitate, E is for emphasize, and M is for modulate as you're saying your DMP. So listen to me, right? If I say, my financially free existence in Kauai is a dream come true, right? That's like nothing. There's no feeling. There's nothing there. But if you hesitate, emphasize particular words in the sentence, and modulate or vary your volume and your tone of voice, this is another way to generate authentic enthusiasm. So instead, I would be like, my financially free existence in Kauai is a dream come true. And just to modulate, simply concentrate on moving your upper lip, and you're instantly going to feel yourself speaking with more enthusiasm. Put a big smile on your face while you're doing it. So that's just a little tip. And you remember Rocky and Bullwinkle. When you see them, you're going to be getting a little tip or a trick or something that is supposed to help you accelerate the subconscious accepting the dynamic new blueprint. And once that happens, it's game over, kids. Now, Andrew Carnegie created a mastermind alliance. He wanted to be the largest maker and seller of steel. In his mastermind principle, Carnegie knew that cooperation wasn't enough. He actually didn't know anything about making or selling steel. So when he created his mastermind, he said cooperation isn't enough. And if people were not in perfect harmony with the Mastermind Alliance, he just bounced them out. He also knew that he had to reward people greater than if they were performing a task, the same task elsewhere. He became the largest maker and seller of steel, and he understood a mastermind alliance, and that's why we follow his mastermind principles. The MKE is not a cookie club. You don't form a mastermind alliance as a group decision. A mastermind is a group of harmonious members around a specific purpose that then shape decisions. Because multiple brains in harmony, that creates something very special, as it did for Carnegie. He became the richest man in the world through his mastermind alliance. There's another old saying, I'm full of them. A rising tide raises all ships. So through a mastermind alliance, we all get better. You get better. You help us perfect the course. By the way, Carnegie gave away millions and funded hundreds of libraries across the country. Remember, readers are leaders. And what's your reward? Carnegie was wise enough to know people in harmony need to be overcompensated. We've set that up already for those in harmony. You improve, and we bring a perfected course to market. You profit from that, just like previous members have. And there it is. We have a mastermind alliance. Notice, pay attention, and really think about point 5 of the Blueprint Builder in relation to this mastermind alliance course. You'll quickly see there's a specific reason that we do the things that we do, and it's all based on principles of success, the master key. We're going to start integrating you into the process today. We open the lines, and you can share during the optional masterminding portion, optional, I repeat, masterminding portion, once the instructional portion is over. If you have questions about technology, please type those in the chat box. This is when the benefits of a mastermind alliance really kick in. We're going to have many shorter calls, masterminding for ideas. Please use the members area for questions. Email is by far the slowest return. If you have a question, go into the members area and ask it. It helps others, remember, and it lets us continue to render the legendary support we've been rendering for 20 years. So the general DMP is a launch of the Master Key Experience worldwide. In the fall of 2026, we'll be adding guides from this group. We're going to help you build a list. And when we roll out in September 2026, you can do what's called become a JV partner. What's that mean? JV partner means joint venture partner. We launch the MKE through the lists that we teach you to build. If you want, not a requirement, you don't have to do it. It's just something we offer. But whether or not you want to take advantage of that idea, you still have a great list that if you want to use it, any way that you want to use it. Those that want to can share in the profit and get invited to the Master Key Retreat in Kauai. That's exactly what's happened for the last 15 years now, right? 11 years at least. And it's great to see people earn extra income and celebrate here on Kauai. It's wonderful. So we'll have a formal mastermind mission statement about our Mastermind Alliance in week 3. Now, everything that we do is done with purpose and compliance with Mastermind Alliance principles, always. Again, pay attention to point 5 of the Blueprint Builder, and you'll understand this set of ideas even better. Let's look a little bit closer at DMPs so you can get started on your first draft. They are a work in progress via the Master Key system and the exercises and the skills of your personal certified guide. Alert for perfectionists. Alert for perfectionists is please relax. We want to perfect the process. You're not necessarily going to get your DMP perfect on the first shot. It's a first draft, like the first draft of a movie. So here are some pointers for making a statement on your DMP. I said on my DMP, my financially free existence in Kauai is a dream come true. Now, I was saying that before I lived here. I say that in the present tense, all right? I said it in the present tense. Also, you want to eliminate the word will. So just take out any instances of the word will. For example, instead of I will work out every day, it would be written, I work out every day. See the difference? We want it present tense. The real key here is to watch your words and add feeling. So something like, securing a home debt-free gives me peace of mind and joy. That's good, right? This is better. Securing a paid in full home gives me peace of mind and joy. We're eliminating the word debt. Did you catch that? We don't want subby or your subconscious seeing and hearing the word debt, 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 debt over and over and over again. We're going to be really precise here in terms of writing out your DMP. An authentic DMP means that we don't fall down and we don't slow down. We don't want to write something esoteric, okay? And Mark told you I use a dictionary. I looked up esoteric this morning because I'm like, you know what? I'm not 100% positive. I was not 100% accurate on what esoteric means. So please look stuff up and look up esoteric, because we don't want you to write esoteric about the money thing or something spiritual, etc. You want to get over that fancy stuff and just get really specific about what you want and how it's going to feel. What do you want? Get specific. Remember, in Hill's example, money, it's just a metaphor for resources. Get your DMP written. It's a requirement to maintain your scholarship, and you won't be assigned a guide unless you write it and send it in. And please, please, know it's a work in progress. What do you want? Listen to me, you guys. Your workbook is very helpful. Any questions that you have about what we're talking about, it's in your workbook. So go in there and get your workbook. Do the work and reap the rewards. Everybody knows you cannot lead where you won't go. This matters. Keep it in mind. You're leading you into a new reality. Mastermind Alliance members, they sometimes stall. We had a wonderful member, let's call her Betty. She had a great talent, but she was stuck. She just wouldn't make a decision to get herself out of the cement. She was just stuck there. Never got a DMP in, and 3 years later, 3 years later, all these years later, many years, she's still floundering. So write from the heart. Do your best with all these tips and trust the guides and the staff. You're not being graded. You're being guided. Make a decision to be decisive. We want you to become decisive. And next week's live exercise is going to help you to become a decisive person. You'll want to learn the process of becoming decisive. Your values, your dreams, they're going to elevate and they're going to expand. You're going to master key it by learning to become decisive. You can then understand and lead others. So the real key here is observe yourself without judgment. Not easy, but you can do it. Are you being decisive? Are you being indecisive? You're going to make a choice. It's as simple as that. Either be stuck in the cement of indecision or start the discovery process by making a decision. Okay, another perfectionist alert. It becomes perfect. Your DMP becomes perfect for you. So just relax and write it. Define your purpose. What is your purpose? What is your dharma? In the next few weeks, you'll define it, refine it, and perfect it. You'll find your Kwan, as Rod Tidwell says in Jerry Maguire, your center. You'll write it and read it out loud 3 times a day. It's about peace, love, community. Don't worry about the money comes. We find the purpose and the accomplishment happens and the riches of life follow.
Quan. That's your word?
Hell yeah, that's my word. You know, some dudes might have the coin, but they'll never have the Quan.
What is...
It means love, respect, community, and the dollars too, the entire package, though. Quan. Great word.
I get like, I get goosebumps when I see that. It's about the Kwan, you guys. Wow, I love it. All right, so write your DMP out by hand, seriously, okay? Because writing and reading your own handwriting, it's extremely powerful. Then you want to type it into a Word document or whatever it is that you use. Type it into the Word document so that you have it, okay? And then you're going to head to the members area. But let me be clear. It is critical to read it with feeling 3 times a day. So how does it get to your guide? Go to the members area, click the section that says DMP, that opens up, and below our logo, you'll see a button that says, click to submit your DMP. Click that. This is our proprietary software. You just log in, then you fill out your scholarship. When you filled out your scholarship app, you created a spot for yourself here in the DMP software. You may recall that Mark suggested several times to use the same password. So use the same password, log in. It's really intuitive, it's simple. Ask yourself, okay, what are we doing? We're creating a DMP. So click create a DMP, pretty simple. As soon as you click create a DMP, oh yeah, there's your instructions right there. It's right on the page. So just like the one that you see, okay, right in front of you. You put your name in there. That's it, in the top of the box. Please use your name so that your guide gets it and knows who you are and they can track it. These DMPs are a maximum of 300 words. There's a counter in there for you. You don't have to use all 300 words. You can see it right there, maximum 300, right? Super easy. Everyone agree? So you don't have to use all 300. Some of the best that I've ever seen, you know, they're right around 250. So you can paste your DMP in there from your Word document, or you can type it in, but I recommend you type it into a Word document first, just in case. Once that's done, just click that Submit My DMP at the bottom. Remember to click the button to complete the process. If you don't click that, we won't get it. So make sure after you put your DMP in, and then you click there to choose the week number. This is week number 1. And you don't have to worry about the guide one. All right, so what happens next? Your guide's notified. Your guide makes revisions. Then your DMP goes to the master guide and or staff. We collaborate several times on each and every one of our members. Why do we do that? Anyone? We do it because you're worth it. And once that process is over, the DMP with revisions is returned to you, and you can begin working on your next revisions. So like Mark said, if it's not present tense, the sacrifice is missing, you don't have feelings, things like that. You'll be notified by email once it's ready for the next round between you and your guide. Remember, we're defining, refining, and eventually perfecting your definite major purpose. And when you really get the master key, you get the Quan. You are the whole package. So when your definite major purpose comes back to you and you're then directed to revise it, it comes with a revision. We're revising the language or the murky concepts. We are not critiquing you. So you can relax. All these directions are in the workbook located in week 1 video. Remember, everything's in the workbook. So get your DMP written, submit it, and then you're going to read it out loud 3 times a day with gusto, or you're going to use the hem technique. You got to read it the last thing at night. This is crucial. The last hour of the day is crucial, as you know. Whatever you set in motion carries in motion. Okay, that's not me, that's Newton. And scroll 1 makes exactly the same point. This habit, it's foundational of your new blueprint. No TV, iPads, smartphone, none of that nonsense after reading. It's the cement, and you'll cover your purpose with cement if your DMP and the greatest salesmen in the world aren't the very last things that you put in your brain before bedtime. At some point, your guide and you are going to decide that you've got it. Your DMP is completely done, and they turn you loose. Keep working as you learn more, because at some point, you'll come to believe that words really are the highest form of architecture in civilization. Now, we process these DMPs 1 at a time, pushing through over 300,000 words very carefully. Please be patient. You will be emailed and we'll let you know when your DMP will be back to you. However, if you don't have it back when expected, please use the email that we gave you. It's right there on the screen. If you don't sit around and wait, okay? If you don't have your DMP back when your guide told you you would have it back, please email me. You know, who knows? Cyberspace, email, who knows? All kinds of things can happen. And if you don't let us know, we won't know. So please do. So, but remember, it takes about 72 hours to properly process your DMP. So it could be 2 to 3 days from the time that you submit it, could be a lot sooner. And as I said, email is fallible. Please check spam and junk folders. Please check your promotions folder if you're using Gmail. Log in online and you'll see your promotions folder. This is as important to us as it is to you. Every DMP is read by at least 2 experts. If you've done the work and sent in your DMP, you're going to maintain your scholarship. Now, some of this is a repeat, but I'm repeating for a reason. You're going to write out your DMP several times this month because this is a process. Define, refine, perfect. This is from the Master Keys again, and Mark went over this. Because accuracy in building words and sentences is the highest form of architecture and civilization and is the passport to success. So, is there any reason that you wouldn't want to be really accurate and precise? Guides are here to do just that, guide you, not to do it for you, because it's yours and it's already in you. It's your heart's desire. We're going to help you get that out. So write out your DMP tonight, and yes, we want you to write it by hand, and then you're going to type it in a Word document so that you have it. Once done, you just go into the DMP tab in the members area, follow the prompts, and this is, again, remember, this is all in your workbook. We want to read your DMPs, we honor your DMPs, make sure that it has facts. It's well, you can't type more than 300 words, so it'll be under 300 words. You're going to love our proprietary software, counts the words for you. Make sure your DMP has feelings. What does it feel like? Like I wrote what it felt like to move to Kauai. Make sure that it has dates, and don't forget your sacrifice. This is a requirement. We must receive your DMP by Friday, 6 a.m. Eastern time, or Thursday, midnight Kauai time. Follow the requirements to stay in harmony so you can stick rather than be invited to next year's class. Remember that a mastermind alliance is 2 or more people in perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Get your first draft in by Thursday, midnight Kauai. We want this for you. So if I sound a little bit like a mom, it's because I really want this for you. Remember, it's just a rough draft. It's not the final revision. One more time, rough draft. So don't worry, just get it in. Do your best. And no, we do not have examples. We don't want you modeling someone else. There's no point to that. So it's time to put on your big girl, your big boy pants. Procrastination. All right, you got a few things that you got to do when the call ends. And we help you eliminate procrastination in the next few weeks. How great is that? No procrastination. Until then, you're going to have to become the observer. So dig in, dig deep, and push yourself to do it now. And observe yourself. Ask, am I being decisive? Am I being indecisive? Observe yourself. And don't take any crap from that old blueprint. Don't take any crap from your ego. Do it. There is no trying, okay? Trying is starting something with the intention to fail. Pat Wilson, he's a great baseball player who was played by Tom Hanks, told us in A League of Their Own, there's no crying in baseball. And I'm going to tell you, there's no trying in the MKE. A huge part of the DMP process is your colored pencils and index cards. Always have them ready. Keep them on hand for every single call because you're going to need them in the next weeks and you'll need them every week. It's also a smart move to have your previous and your current master key lesson with you when you come to the calls. Have your index cards, have a pen, have your colored pencils. Listen to me. Don't be too cool for school because it's not going to serve you in this process. Notice resistance, rise above it, and find gratitude for being challenged. Right, Laurie?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so nice job, honey. You were clear. Okay. So the truth about sacrifice and cost, what does this course cost and what about sacrifice? Nobody's going to deny this. Old habits die hard. If you get honest, time really is available. The truth is you can't say that you don't have the time. The truth is when people say they don't have the time, what they really mean is they're allocating their time someplace. And if you give me your phone, I'll show you that you have more than enough time. Your phone will show you, can log right in, you look right in your phone. Inside the settings, you can see how many minutes you spend on nonsense. Look it up, okay? Easy sacrifice for transformation that you desire. Give up time on your smartphone. Often members have shared after 4 or 5 weeks in and they're way behind and they're thinking about quitting because they can't catch up. They've confessed that they just didn't kill the time vampires. And no surprise, their family got shorted too. There's a great solution for this in the resource area. Lori set up a couple of videos called Oats, which is really how to set up a power week. It has proven to be a priceless tool for people that want to create a new trajectory. Here's the truth about time and your dream. Let's deal with the nonsense. Gee, it sounds like this is going to take a lot of time. I don't know if I have 45 minutes to an hour a day. And that just depends on why would it be an hour a day? Depends on how fast you read and how fascinated you get. Most people like me get really fascinated. So let's get serious here. There's 124 hours in a day times 7 days. There's 168 hours in a week, okay? I'm going to give you 56 for rest, 50 for work and commute, 20 for worship and family, and 12 for Murphy's Law. If you subtract all that from 168, it leaves you with 30 hours. What we do with those 30 hours will make or break your life, okay? It's really that simple. It's the inevitable conclusion is we feed our minds or we default to the cement mixers. 7 to 10 hours a week on the world within changes the 158 hours of the world without. What are we talking about here? 15 hours on business still leaves you 5 to 8 hours for fantasy baseball, hitting golf balls, playing with your son, whatever, hugging your wife. Listen, guys, go hug your wife once in a while for no reason. Ladies, go give your hubby a kiss on the forehead for no reason. Take charge of yourself, not time. Why? No one can manage time. You can only manage the choices that you make. Don't worry about the time. If you earnestly invest in the world within, then both you and the world without improves effortlessly. If you're thinking about time right now, then you haven't been listening to what I'm saying. You're listening to the old blueprint. The world without, your life and all the circumstances were all created by the world within. You better invest in the world within because you ain't gonna fix it by looking at the clock or trying to juggle time. Take charge of your thoughts. No time, not time. Every new member is either going to invest time in the world within or they're going to make time excuses. Right now, then, this becomes a life-defining moment. A life-defining moment. If you don't think you have the time, that's because the blueprint that you currently hold, that's why. And if you don't invest in learning how to displace that blueprint with a new one, where there's plenty of time, plenty of love, plenty of money, plenty of joy, plenty of fun, and plenty of contributions, then you will repeat your history. It's really that simple, okay? So invest in yourself. We're looking for a time investment. That's the real cost here. Invest in yourself. Let's be blunt. Keep investing in the distractions by denying time vampires exist, by refusing to look at how much time you actually are on TikTok and Instagram and playing chess and fantasy baseball and shopping. You know, it's all bullshit. In other words, you're going to keep investing in the distractions by denying your time vampires or start investing in yourself. Because here's the bottom line. The only algorithm that matters is you aligning with the algorithm of your heart. So clocks, compass, and karma. Clocks, compass, and cement. The cement. We get conditioned by all the systems I talked about earlier, and we get coerced to copy them so we'll fit in. Our lives are filled with unnecessary distractions. Those distractions give us a feeling of routine, and that routine gives us falsely a feeling of security, and we convince ourselves things aren't that bad. But in the meantime, if you're like me, we're living in discontent, or even worse, like I was, a life of quiet desperation. Are you excited to bounce out of bed in the morning? Are you like when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you find, oh man, I'm supposed to be in bed till 6? You're ready to go. Are you feeling joy and ecstasy and blown away by wonder every minute of the day? Do you think being alive is okay? Not that bad? Same shit, different day? Give me a break. Cement on your spirit is bad. The only solution is investment in the world within. Karma. Karma is the same thing that Haanel spells out in the Master Key System. It's not some tutti-frutti 1960, man, cut me up in traffic, that's bad karma. It is the law. Karma is simply the law of cause and effect. It's based on the idea that we make choices all day long, and you now know where those choices are coming from. Be aware that every choice has a consequence while you're making that choice. That's karma. All you have to do is become aware to be the observer of you. Guy says, I don't have the time for that. He's not being truthful. The truth is, it's a choice. What he really means is, I have the time, but I'm going to spend it on TikTok, or I'm going to spend it playing pickleball instead of the world within. And what's the consequence? Become aware, invest in seeking, finding, and learning how to use the incredible power, the dormant,
creative genius that everyone on this call has that's been cloaked. And that includes you. Feel this next sentence. Clear your mind. I'm investing in me so I become a better me, and that's going to touch everybody's life that I actually come in contact with. So clocks, right? Okay. This is another life-defining moment. It's 3 simple choices. The first choice, true or false? The world without is a perfect reflection of the world within. If you know that that's true, why wouldn't you invest in the world within? The second one, choice. Invest time in the world within or use time as an excuse so I can have the same routine. Choice. Why am I hanging on to what I don't want so I can't have my heart's desire? These are choices. Every master key system completer has never struggled with time once they get about 1/3 to 2/3 of the way through the course, because the bullshit doesn't appeal to them anymore. They become indifferent towards it. Why? The investment that they made in the world within pays off precisely 100% of the time for 100% of the members.
Thank you, Mark. It's amazing you can hear me, yes? We're good?
Yep, sound good.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, I got a weird thing that said new hardware detected, so I just blew it off. All right, let's quick mini review here. And folks, we appreciate your attention. We are not going to repeat assignments 3 times on every call, okay? But since this is the first call and we know that there's questions, we're going to quickly review again here. And you're going to find all of this in your workbook. We've said it time and time again, so don't worry, it's all there. Read the Master Key Lesson 1 every day and sit still for 15 minutes after you read every day. Read The Greatest Salesman as directed, right in scroll 1. Okay, the 3rd read at night, you want out loud with enthusiasm. So we're going to be reading scroll 1 3 times a day up until November 1st. Next, you're going to write, submit, and read your DMP out loud 3 times a day. And yes, we know it's going to change because you're going to be revising. That's great. But what's fantastic is that you are going to be training your brain's old blueprint and saying, in essence, I'm in charge here, not you. It's really cool. Anyway, write out that blueprint builder as directed also and read it twice a day out loud. Play with the order. Find what works best for you. Also, you want to be sure to set up a specific schedule for yourself after the call. And when you do that, know that what you're doing is investing in the world within. Feel grateful that you're learning about the world within and investing in the world within as you write out your schedule. That's what you're doing. Make it easy on yourself. Okay, put the Master Key lesson in one of the 3 ring binders. Keep a highlighter and a pen clipped to the weekly lesson so you can make those notes and observations. And I promise you that when you look back at week 1 or 2, let's say in 12 weeks, okay, week 12 or something, you're going to see things that you struggled with and you're going to literally burst into tears, you know, or whatever you do to express that beautiful feeling as you realize, oh my gosh, I'm finding my true self. I'm making progress. You know, things that I struggled with are now tinker toys to me. So this is key. Keep one of your copies of The Greatest Salesman on your bed. Now, some people slip here. You know, you have the intention to read it, and you go to bed, and you just forget, and you wake up feeling guilty. That's the old blueprint, okay? I would suggest, if I were you, when you get out of bed in the morning, you know, read it first thing in the morning, pull the covers up to make your bed, and put it on the pillow. Because if it's on the pillow, you're going to see it. And then read Greatest Salesman in your DMP before bed. That's super important. Most of us have our DMP, our copy of the Blueprint Builder, tucked right into the scroll that we're on for the month and use it as a bookmark. No matter what, establish that habit of 3 reads a day of The Greatest Salesman. It is the habit that we're after. That's it. Now, also, we've talked about the blog. That's a requirement, and it's a major piece of this experience. Folks, it's as easy as writing an email. So every Monday over the next 4 to 5 weeks, Davine and her team are going to run a digital call on Zoom on Monday nights to support you. If you've never done this before, I want you to relax. You're going to love how easy this actually is. Key point, she mentioned this before, but in the title to your weekly post, when you submit it, you must include MKE week 1 or MKE week 2. So an example might be MKE week 1. I'm so confused, okay? People reading your blog will see that you're making progress, and this matters. We are all attracted to people who are living with purpose and making progress, right? It inspires people. So share your experience, strength, and hope. You know, share your insights and your progress. Just be honest, all right? Just put out your thoughts and feelings. It's a requirement that you get your first blog post submitted by Friday, okay? Don't worry about it though. You're going to improve, and you'll have a baseline so that you can actually see your own progress as you inspire other people who read that. Those digital calls with Davine, Monday nights with her team, they're going to walk you right through it step by step, even if you've never done anything like this before. It's as easy as writing an email, so start there. Like you're sharing with a friend about these crazy master key people or being back in school, okay? And there's a helpful document in the members area to the member blogging section with simple steps that walk you through how to get organized and submit your blog with just a few clicks. Yes, we're pushing you, and we want you to push us, okay? Because we get better with your feedback. So there's a very short survey in your inbox right now, and filling that out every week is a requirement to maintain your scholarship. Now, this takes, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. So I recommend that you go over there right after this webcast, just get it done and start that habit. So each week it's just done right away. Now, we understand some of you may be experiencing the culture shock of being back in school. Maybe the hope and excitement that you had when you applied for a scholarship, it can get displaced by what looks like a big workload here. I want you to relax, but stay focused, because everything you're being assigned is going to get easier right now. All these assignments are in the workbook, just listed out clearly, all the links you need. And we're excited to be sharing both bonus stuff and tools that we have that'll help you defeat that old blueprint, smack it down, beat that old blueprint that wants to feel overwhelmed and turn instead, to the hope side. Remember why you joined this, and let us shower you with support right now, folks. The way the world communicates has changed. So the digital calls over the next 4 Mondays or so are going to get you up to speed for purposes of this class. Also, you'll see there's a digital solutions course in the members area. That's a big bonus for you. It's a series of videos, and it's got priceless technical instruction. Regardless of your, computer social media skills, you're going to love how Davine teaches things one at a time. You can get caught up technically with social media in no time. You'll be comfortable and confident. I guarantee it. That's a bonus course that you can access, later on. By the way, if you have a business, that digital solutions course can help you generate leads and get more business. So again, it's a bonus, not a requirement, just highly valuable and very interactive. Okay. Our guides all have the same philosophy as we do here. And what is that? We want to give you 1960s style or type of service to our members. So here are 3 more ways that we have, set up to support you daily as you go through these growing pains of study and understanding the material and assignments and daily requirements. First, we've recorded and provided for you a special rapid learning course. Now, this is taught by a former member of ours, Merwin Lowe. It's in your members area under actually the new webinars and news tab. You'll see it right in there. And I highly recommend you make time to watch this in the next week or so. Why? Because the quicker we read, the faster we learn and the more we retain. It's that simple. Next up is the Master Key Experience members area, and you'll want to log in daily and ask those questions, make comments. Mastermind, we talked about that. Register in here for your upcoming webinars. It's already posted for the week 2 webinars, already up there, so you can register, right? You can access the replays and all of the other resources that we give to you. So keep in mind, staff and guides are in there daily, including your own certified guide, who each of our guides only work with 5 to 10 people. So you're going to get lots of personal attention and so much encouragement and access to your guide on a regular basis. I know by now you figured out that it's about habit. And if you create habits around the critical behaviors here, I am telling you there is no limit to what you can achieve. You'll unconsciously organize what used to derail you. I'm a living example of that, okay? The critical behaviors to build a strong or a solid foundation and meet and surpass all of your expectations of yourself are the following: reading OG and the Master Key System, sitting absolutely still for 15 or more minutes a day, and reading your DMP and Blueprint Builder. Look, we've got your back. You can mastermind with your fellow members and guides in the members area, which will help you solidify those critical behaviors and establish these new beautiful habits. Okay, this blog thing, writing a blog, which is really journaling your adventure, it is crucial. And not only does reliving your new experience have an immense effect on subby, it makes you part of a growing community. Together, we're building a brand of self-directed thinkers here. That'll strengthen your personal brand and create visibility for, each other, for one another. It'll connect you to marvelous people. And actually, it's probably how we met you, okay? So you'll learn to copy what we do and meet great people here as well. People worldwide are offered the opportunity for the greatest adventure on the planet, which is self-discovery regardless of finances. We want to help thousands of people find and follow their bliss and fulfill their dharma and touch the lives of other people. We trust universal law and that it will return to us over and over. We got several calls and emails this week that were really nice. People ask, how can you do this? How can you afford a staff of over 60 people and all these support tools and bonuses you offer? Well, folks, we can't. So I want to pause here and give thanks to the 2024 session who funded everything with their generosity. We're doing something that's never been done before. It's a revolutionary way to conduct positive transactions. Mark had an idea in 2010 and he rolled it out, and it changed his and Davine's lives so dramatically. It changed our lives, the staff, the guides, you're going to meet everybody, and it gave other people an opportunity to change their lives. It's based on another of those 7 spiritual laws. It's the law of karma, which again is cause and effect. And when you're reading the Haanel lesson, think karma, think cause and effect. Now let's define karma properly. Mark touched on this. It's not that mystical thing or Far Eastern thing the way people have used it, okay? They don't understand it. They just have that like karma idea that Mark mentioned there. Most of us use the word karma to make somebody else feel bad because they're not behaving the way we want them to. Well, actually, karma is one of the 7 spiritual laws of success, and we'll be studying all of them during the course. But for now, essentially what it is total consciousness of the law of cause and effect. In other words, you are totally conscious that the choices you make have consequences, and you're conscious of that while you're making them. So our presence here, your presence here, is the result of other people being conscious of the consequences of paying it forward, in other words, karma, while they did it. Other people's contributions and trust actually endowed each and every member of this course. More specifically, someone else has created a scholarship for you in advance. What karma really is, being conscious that choices we make have consequences at the moment we're making choices, that's it. Being aware while you are deciding and understanding the consequences to yourself and others. Folks, we're all connected. Everything's connected. Your choices matter. And so the 2 questions to keep your karma in line with your highest self are, 1, what are the consequences of the choice I'm making? And 2, will my choice bring me and others fulfillment and happiness? Now I want to repeat those. Number 1, what are the consequences of the choice I'm making? And will my choice bring me and others fulfillment and happiness? Last year's members voted to pay it forward and then intentionally went to an endowment page and paid it forward, creating each and every scholarship here. This is important. We're in this together, and you, the members of the mastermind, that's this group, you make decisions about the future of the Master Key experience via surveys. All of you here on your scholarship application agreed that you decide to pay it forward and continue on, or we'd shake hands, sending peace and love and part ways after you had a significant chance to see, feel, and understand this environment, okay? This is an environment created for all of us to find our truth and follow our bliss. So in these upcoming surveys, the members, that's you folks, decide if we should sell this course in the future or if we should continue to scholarship again as the previous members have done. Now, no one loses a scholarship over money, okay? We want to expand this experience to 3,000 members, not contract it over money. We know there'll be hardship situations out there, and they really need this. The previous class took care of that. Does that make sense? So you'll understand karma more deeply over the next few weeks, and we want you to really understand it, that your actions are decisions that affect the ability of future members to benefit from this course. We're paying it forward also as a group. 10% right off the top goes to a 501c3 nonprofit. 11 years ago, the members built a schoolhouse in Uganda. There you see the schoolhouse, and thank you MKE Group is etched in there. Also, over 20,000 went to that village and a fighting GMOs fund, as well as preserving monarchs. Because when the butterflies and bees go, you guys, we go. It's important. Paying it forward endows future members, and Mark went over this on a live Q&A webcast that he did last week. And again, you as a group will determine two things. Number one, should we sell it in the future or continue with that pay it forward program we've been doing? And if you do, like what each session has done before, keep pay it forward scholarships going. If you do decide that, then members, not the guides or Mark Davine or myself or our staff, you're going to vote to determine the minimum, which historically is about 2 lattes 3 times a week for a couple. Okay, so if this group decides to pay it forward, the first pay it forward will be due in week 5, October 26th. So you'll have 5 weeks in. So let's see, the 19th of October, you vote. And after you've all had a month, right, you'll figure out the minimum in a survey. So relax. We'll then pay it forward 4 more times. Pay it forward, great. Continue with us, or decide not to, all good, all blessed. Now, I know this feels really strange, but we believe in a different way of doing things, and it's a revolutionary way. Last year's members made it possible for us to bring on additional members. We were a little sad today because we'd love to have more members, but you'll have a choice to change that for next year. The 2024 group also helped us expand our guide team. That means less members per guide and more individualized support for you. And they financed us expanding our training program, a remarkable group, really. So you'll set the value and endowment minimums, and I'm really curious as to what kind of legacy this session is going to create. All right, now you'll find all these assignments in the workbook under week 1, but make certain that you read lesson 1 of the Master Key System daily and sit in silence every day, 15 minutes at least. And the things you read out loud, enthusiasm, it's key. That survey's in your inbox, it's short, it's a requirement. Do it now. One more time, write your DMP, submit it in the DMP section of the software. It takes 30 days to establish a new habit idea, plus 40 to 60 more to solidify it, right? And there's our little guide, the Training Your Brain guy. He's going to teach you something weekly about your brain. Reading out loud, and sitting is part of training your brain, folks. Why? Because until we can control our body, we can't control our thoughts. So burn it into your mind. The world without is a reflection of your world within. It's a 168-hour commitment, 1 week time-wise out of your life, but spread over the next 6 months in tiny daily installments that begins right now to create and manifest a new blueprint for you. So dig deep. This is your life. This is karma. Be aware that you're making a choice while you're making it. You will form a new blueprint. You will find your authentic self. That's the golden child that you saw in the beginning, and that's been in you since you were born. You will discover your unique gifts, and when those unique gifts are claimed by you and given away without expectation, it creates unimaginable affluence because there's a need for the real you and for your unique gifts in this world, now more than ever, I would say. So instead of freaking out, dial in. It's the first day of school, folks. Don't freak out over assignments. Embrace and dial in. We understand and we have your back. So celebrate the fact that you know with challenge comes change and you've chosen a different road. Most people do what's comfortable, convenient, and instant. That's what gurus out there pitch. We all know that doesn't work. This does. This works. So celebrate while feeling overwhelmed that you made a great choice. You've got an email in your inbox, workbooks, 60 plus dedicated helpers, lots of technology. We've got your back. And more than anything, we love being in service to you. So override that old blueprint that wants to feel overwhelmed. All right, that's ridiculous. Just focus on hope and discovery and know absolutely that you're going to meet a most remarkable being. You're going to meet you. So let's open it up, Mark.
Yeah. Okay. So, whoops. Okay. So we are into an optional time. You can stick around. If you have a question and you just want to get your question answered and then you want to leave, that's fine. Some weeks you want to be here, some weeks you won't. That's just school, you know, it's the way that it is. And it's all okay. So if anybody has any questions, just type them in the box. And if you have the right kind of setup, we'll get you here. Okay. Yeah, Lisa, there's a replay. We always say give us 48 hours, but it's usually, Lisa, up within 24 hours. Hope that helps you. Okay. Okay. I think a lot of people didn't hear, what's his name? I'll see if I can find the Quan for you to get a choppy version, but the audio will be good. Anybody got any questions outside of total overwhelm? Okay.
Kirsty wants to know, what is the blueprint builder?
Yeah, the blueprint builder is in the workbook. It's actually out of the book Think and Grow Rich. It's called the self-confidence builder in there. It's out of chapter 8, but we call it the blueprint builder.
You want to show them on the members area?
Yeah. And so but this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna write it out by hand, and down at the bottom, where it says sign it, you're gonna write above sign it, I always keep my promises. So I'll let you guys grab some other questions and I'll get into the members area. Oh, fancy honey.
She looks fancy. She looks great. Zachary, can't wait. Love to share in my enthusiasm. Can't wait to take the class again. So much accomplished.
Yeah, get him on there. See what he has to say. Products.
Oh, Zachary. There he is. The disease. Okay, you can unmute yourself, Zachary, if you can, if you'd like to share. Your hand's raised. You're muted on your end. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Rise and breath.
So I am super excited. So Jason Hauser, the famous Jason Hauser, is kind of he's been my mentor for the last 7 years of my life. And we've been, right? He's such an amazing human being. And I've been able to cause so much change. Looking back, I didn't really know what to expect taking the course again, but I'm just so excited. Like just hearing your guys' voice, I'm so triggered already. I'm just like, I'm just beaming with enthusiasm. I knew it would do this, but it was triggering right away. So I'm really excited to be creating a new DMP and just kicking it all off. I'm not going to try to cut any corners or do anything different. I'm just going to let you guys guide, and I'm trusting the process again.
Yeah. Yeah. How has it affected you outside of meeting Hauser, who's he altered my life, you know? I
Okay.
love it when the student becomes the teacher. And I don't pick up the phone often enough to call him. I think he's here today. I'm going to correct that. That's one of my promises, Jason, that I already wrote of action. But anyway, how has the course affected you and your self-worth?
Oh, um, man, I mean, my self-worth. So for me, being able to just have to embrace every aspect of my life, being in parenting, I now have three amazing, beautiful children. My husbandry, trying to be the best husband, my faith with God, and my owning a business. I mean, so much of the Master Key system for me was about money in the beginning, but I didn't realize, and I had no idea MLM was nothing. From the self-development part was just, I exploded as an individual, my self-confidence, and just kind of tied all these things in my life that I already knew, but it gave me these childlike habits that are easy to poo-poo, but if you do them, even if you only took a few things from this class after it's done, and you ran with that and you didn't take the class again, if you just take a few things, your life will truly be transformed. You might not read your DMP, maybe you put Og down, Haanel's not a part, but if you could just use the law of growth, if you could just pick, something, you will be transformed forever, let alone do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So my bank account's transformed. I own a home now. I have a business that not only exactly as my DMP said, pays my cost of living, and I have retirement, and I have an IRA. I mean, these are all things that previous to the class 5 years ago, I had none of those financial things. So I really do have things to show, but it's so much more than just what I have in my accounts. I'm so thankful. So thank you guys.
Right. Isn't it amazing once you cross over, and just what we talked about on this call, that there's a creative genius in you, and that it's not about getting more, it's about becoming awakened to the fact like you have. And it's amazing, like just like Davine said, all the stuff on the left hand side, paying down the credit cards, getting the house, it all happens anyway once you find your soul, once you find your real purpose. Thanks for sharing, man. Glad you're in it. I'm gonna be all over you like Zorro on a horse.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I wanted to bring you in here. So a couple of people, including Christy. So Lori kind of went over this, but it's all on one page. But if you go to week 1, okay, you'll find everything you need right there. And so we're talking about in the workbook, which will tell you everything give you everything you need, all the assignments and everything. We don't leave anything out. Have an education major, la-di-da, English and education, but you'll find the blueprint builder in here. And Lori has taken the time to index this. So you see blueprint builder on 13. So you just scroll down to 13, just print it out, right? And there it is right there. Okay. That's all there is to it, nothing to it.
Christy's saying, so the blueprint builder is my DMP.
No,
the blueprint builder is what Mark's showing you right now. Your DMP is what you submit in the software. If you go into your members area and look for submit DMP, you'll see the software that you utilize to submit your DMP. They're two different things. There's a lot, you guys, you got a lot of information today. No, please relax. Everything's going to be fine. I'm going to put my email in here again. You have my email. You can ask questions in the members area. But submitting your DMP, Mark, if you could show them that one more time in the members area.
well, I just want to go over one thing for Christy and everybody else. That we talked about your you're creating a new blueprint. This is a blueprint builder. This, by reading this every day out loud, twice a day for 2 weeks, and then once a day after that for the rest of the course, what this does is it takes the soil, think of your mind like a garden, and it tills the soil so that while Christy and everybody else, while you're working with your guide and perfecting the language on your definite major purpose, that's what you're going to drop into it. This tills the soil and it gets the GMOs out, okay? And so you want me to go here, Master Key Experience, right? And you're going to tell me where it is. DMP Submissions. So this is right when you log in. You're going to scroll down. Like Lori told you, everything is on one page. As a matter of fact, we shortened it because we also have weeks 10 through 19 and 19 through 26, whatever. But she decided to shorten this year, so it's not so much scrolling. But right here is DMP Submissions. So you're going to click on that and then click here, right? Or the image below, either one, to submit your DMP, and that will open up, and there's all the directions that Davine went over. And again, you're going to use the same password, and if you have any trouble, that the guides and the staff, everybody's on high alert this week. We usually take turns so that everybody's not in there every day, but everybody's in there every day the first couple of weeks to help you guys out. I remember, if you ever moved away from home the first time, right? When I went to AIC, which is a college I went to, also known as AIC Almost in College, or AIC American Ice Company. But I didn't know where anything was. And, in the second semester, I was one of the people that guided the new people that were joining in the second semester around, because I figured out, I'll help the new families with daughters find their way around the campus. But anyway, so I hope that helps you, Christy. Let's see, Peepa. Diane, when you took the test, I'm going to open this in case so I'm not answering the same questions. That drives my wife crazy. Let's see. Okay. We got here. Joe, we got a guinea in the class, honey, like me. Forget about it. Can you help Joe Godelli?
Yeah.
Godelli. Yeah, Candace, we'd love to do that. The software just doesn't accommodate for it, but we're working on it. But a lot of the calls, like Monday's call with Davine, and some of the ancillary and help calls we have, and sometimes just getting together to kick things around, plus the tribe that you have set up, those are all done on Zoom, so it's highly interactive. Yeah, Lois, you're reading the Blueprint Builder to prepare your mind, and you're writing a definite major purpose, which will be coming. So you've got a Blueprint Builder to help support your mind from a different perspective to absorb the blueprint that you're going to write. So the Blueprint Builder, learning how to write a blueprint, right, by getting your mind clear and operating on principles first. Particularly in certain countries, I don't want to mention any names, America, okay? It's all about the stuff, okay? That Blueprint Builder, wouldn't it be great if the entire society operated this way? Whoops. In point 5 of the Blueprint Builder, one of the key elements is that therefore I engage in no transaction that does not benefit all of whom it affects. Okay. Yes. So we're setting up some principles. So as you start to create your own blueprint, Lois, what will happen is some of these principles will start to come through. Fashion comes and goes, principles endure. And you learn that from Og. I stole that from Og.
Yeah, you guys, after you submit your DMP, you'll be assigned a guide. They will send you an email. They'll let you know when your DMP will be ready and back to you. So once you submit that, and you don't have to choose the name of the guide, that's there for later when we're going back and forth. So you don't have to fill that in. But once you get that submitted, you'll hear from your guide right away. They'll let you know who they are, how to contact them, all that jazz. And we'll also set you up, once we get your DMP, we'll also set you up in Marco Polo tribes. Your guide will invite you. That's a really great way to communicate. You don't have to, but it is epic. Makes a huge difference. If there's anybody, I know we have lifetimers in here, if you want to share how great that is without foreshadowing. No, Zachary, you didn't.
Yeah, the other thing is, Candace asked a question, a couple other people, about reading The Greatest Salesman in the World. Is over here. Here's my Greatest Salesman in the World. Well, it's the front half of it. The other half's over there on the desk. I've had it for a while. But there's odds. So up until scroll one is around 50 something pages, I think. Right? 50 pages. You can read that or not. That's why we open the scholarships early, so people will get their crayons or their colored pencils. Sorry, Davine doesn't like any brand names. She's all about generic rather than corporate. Okay. God love that one.
Screw big corporations.
Anyway, it's a fascinating story. And if you haven't read it, make the time. I think you'll enjoy it. If you read it, great. Up to scroll one. So we're only reading scroll one. You're not reading pages 1 through 53. If you didn't read the first part of the book, that's fine. Read it when you can. But basically, scroll one 3 times a day. Okay. And the Master Key Experience Lesson 1 that you read, and then do with your mind what he tells you to do. Me personally, I like doing that last in the morning, the reading of the Master Keys and sitting. Okay. So I'm filling my mind with the Blueprint Builder. I'm filling my mind with Og. I'm filling my mind with my definite major purpose. And then I get reminded when I'm reading Haanel of the things that are great triggers for me to keep in mind what we talked about on this call, what Davine talked about, what Lori talked about. It starts here. Do not get sucked into reacting to life. Just play around with it a little bit. And once you get a guide, you can talk to them about it. They have different, I'm sure that they may have a different methodology to it. But I like to call this a functional bookmark. So all this stuff, my definite major purpose, and the Blueprint Builder and all that, it's a bookmark in the book. So I just open it right there, and it's right there. Anyway, and do what Lori told you to do. Leave one copy of Og on your pillow, whether you make your bed or not. Like she said, she did a beautiful job, Lori. It's not that you don't mean to read it, you just forget because it's new.
Yeah.
And old habits die hard. You're gonna want to get in bed and watch reruns of Everybody Loves Raymond or Frasier, or some movie that you like, because that's a habit of mine. I'll watch the same little section of the same movie for, always a romantic comedy, by the way. I'll watch the same section of a movie for like 6 months because it'll put me to sleep in about 30 seconds. Okay. So I do this stuff first. Okay. Instead. feed the mind. You know, garbage in, garbage out. Anyway, let's see what else we have going on here.
What is Joe asking?
See you soon, Pete. Bye. See you Wednesday. Oh, good. Carolyn found oats in the resources. Oats is, we used to include it on this webcast and we made a decision not to. It's just too much. And by the way, these usually run 2 hours or less. Sometimes 2 hours and 5 minutes, sometimes an hour and 15 minutes. But just like a college course, like Davine said, that meets once a week. Beautiful job today, honey. You were on fire. You were great. You had that mother, but also some sternness. It's just a perfect blend. I never seem to be able to hit that spot in between. But anyway, oats is a phenomenal thing. It means objectives, actions, time, and then schedule it. And it walks you through it in there. We used to have that, and it was just overwhelming for people. So if you have trouble scheduling stuff, that is a great way to do it because it'll keep first things first for you. Keep first things first. Like Vince Lombardi said to the Green Bay Packers, right? They'd come back every year and he'd say, gentlemen, this is a football. They had just won the championship. Gentlemen, this is a football. But before we get started, go home, take care of your relationship with your creative relationship with your family. After that, you belong to the Green Bay Packers. And oats helps you do that. When you start to line up your priorities, because, you know, I was guilty of this, man. Trying to find spare time for my family. There's no such thing as spare time. Okay. You know, you can do it full time, you can do it part time, but you can't do it spare time. Okay. Anybody got anybody here that we want to help?
I wanna reiterate to relax. You can't do anything wrong. Okay. We're gonna get you whatever you need. You got my email, you got the members area. Please utilize the support systems that we've put in place, and there are even more for you coming when we know you're committed and submit your DMP. But there's nothing to worry about. You're gonna figure it out. You know, yellows, blues, it may take you a couple of weeks. Don't panic, don't worry. It's all gonna be great. We're gonna get you sorted out one way or another. That's what we're here for. So utilize your resources because we want to. We're all here for you. All these faces that you see have been through this. I don't want to get verklempt. They know what that experience is. That's why they're shaking their heads. We're all different colors and we're all here to be in service to you guys. So please reach out with whatever you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And Carolyn also asked, where is the assessment test located? That's in the introduction to the Master Keys, which is only a 6-minute video. So, which is it's the first video or the first link inside weeks 1 through 9. It says introduction. And if you click on that right there, this document will open up for you. Whoop. Let's do it this way. There we go. Okay. And so what you're going to do, and again, this is for your eyes only. So, and it suggests in the video, let's say you take this, Carol. Is it Carol or Carolyn? Let me just make sure I get that right. That's not the one I want. It is
Carolyn Polson you're talking about?
Yeah, Carolyn. Okay, Carolyn, I want to make sure I got it right. So Carolyn, this is for your eyes only. But if you have someone that you really trust and you feel safe with, after you take this self-assessment test, go over it with them, okay? And like you might say, I know exactly the amount of money that I want to have. And you say, you check off always. But your husband says, or your sister says, I'd say sometimes it's more accurate. Take their number, okay? Take their number. And so anyway, there's 20 questions here, and then you're going to score it down. You score it down here, right? It shows you how to score it, and you definitely want to hang on to that, because in one of the weeks, like Dave was talking about, we ask you to take it again. And again, we don't want to know. It's for your eyes only, because sometimes people don't realize that they're actually making progress, you know, and because the world's telling you that you're not, you know, they're telling you that you're not. And we all know how all power, you know, there's an old saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. This is not something that's true now. It's something that's been true since people started gathering in groups of 20 or more people, okay? But all the way back to the Romans, everybody else, always the same thing. Scare them, divide them, demoralize them, and bring them to the circus, which are the distractions we talked about. Now it's, you know, doom scrolling or whatever it happens to be. And so it's easy not to feel progress because we're inundated. The machines now, meaning the power brokers, they have so many more ways to get to us. You know, so many, the average person gets over 9,000 impressions a day. Okay. That's a lot of, you suck, you know, coming at you. You're too fat. You're too skinny, you know, whatever. And so it's really important. And it's a great question. And that self-assessment test, so many people say, I don't remember what it was. So do what Lori said, right? I can't stand up. But anyway, get a punch, a 3-ring punch, okay? And take that assessment test and put it in the very front of the workbook, 2-ring binder, 3-ring binder, 2-inch 3-ring binder. Try that one 3 times fast. Anyway, good question. Hope that helps you, Carolyn. Carrie.
Shout out to people that have been here before. There are a few of you. Please keep in mind that most of the people here haven't been through this. So don't talk about anything, please, that's coming in the future. We call it foreshadowing. Please don't foreshadow, because we want everybody to experience it the way that you got to, like the first time. So just please be cautious of that, like when you're asking questions in the members area, or when you're sharing on a polo, or when you're asking questions in here. It's just, people retake it for a reason. So, and I'm so excited that previous members are here.
Mm-hmm.
But we also want to be respectful of people that haven't had to experience this incredible thing yet. And I know you all mean well. I absolutely know that.
Okay, so this didn't play for a lot of people, I guess. So we'll try this. The Quan, if those of you that didn't see it. The video will be choppy, but the words will be fine. You should be able to hear it. Wow. Well, that's why you couldn't hear it, because it didn't play there either. Okay. Let me see if I can find another one. It's kind of a bummer.
I heard it though. The first one. Some people.
I heard it on the first, yeah.
Yeah, same.
Okay. All right.
I also heard it on the first one.
Oh, okay. And it's me, or it was them. Okay.
And
Your
just a reminder,
momminess is rubbing off on me, honey.
If you
just a
didn't see the
reminder that
longer
those-
video, sorry. If
I'll
you
just say
didn't see
real
the
quick.
longer video, it's in the members area under week 1 supplemental.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, one of the things that we do when we have videos in there, we're going to go down to week 1. week 1. And we'll put in, there'll be a link for supplemental videos in here when we have videos, so you'll be able to see them. Because sometimes people just want to see the video again. We do a little bit with video in here, which is a nice break from us yakking at you. And then people tend to share those videos with friends that they know. They go look them up on YouTube or whatever and say, I can't believe this thing I saw. Because it has a different meaning once you've opened up to your wonder.
I just published it, Mark, so it's there now.
Okay.
Supplemental.
Speaking of yakking at you, to answer a couple of questions that I've seen, regarding the Monday night calls, the Monday night calls are much, much shorter. Those typically run about an hour, but are chock full of valuable information.
Mhm.
Okay, what else do we have here? Yeah, we're still live, Saucier. My clone friend from Canada. What story he's got. We'll have him on here some week and talk about that. Yeah, we add those in later, Zach. Great question. Thanks for the no foreshadow. You're awesome, baby. If anybody, there's another thing you can do here, which is raise your hand. So
Yeah, Zach reminded me.
I'm going to drop the hands. If anybody has a question, you could raise your hand. What's Todd on?
Elena.
Elena, my buddy.
Yeah.
From. Okay. Hi, Elena. Can you unmute? There you go. I can't hear you, hon. I've had the pleasure of working with her personally. It's nice. Okay.
Yeah, Elena, we're not getting your audio.
Okay, I think we got everybody. Sometimes we hang out for a while, but today's a longer call. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate
Peaches. Go to bed.
Yes, look at her. She looks so spry, and it's middle of the night.
What a trooper. What a trooper.
Okay, so you got a lot of suggestions, and I will tell you that one of the reasons this call is longer is we incorporated orientation in with the lesson, and believe it or not, while it feels overwhelming, 5 weeks from now it's going to feel, well, you guys go a little bit faster. I got it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Definitely.
And we won't be repeating the assignments 3 or 4 times because you'll be up to speed. And I'm telling you this because think about when you started a new job, you didn't know where the bathroom was, and a month later you were showing somebody else around the office. Or when you went to college, you couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the names of buildings and where my classes were, anything else like that. And by my, and it wasn't that much longer that I was actually, teaching there. So it's just, don't worry about it. It all gets down to discerning for yourself, is this my old blueprint wanting me to feel overwhelmed so I don't have to do this? Because these are the 3 things. I don't know if it's backwards here. And Lori did a great job, or Davina, I can't remember, probably both of them. This is what the group is going to tell you. It's convenient, it's comfortable, and it's instant. How many ads do you see on, TikTok or Instagram or whatever? I made, my clients do 1.7 million a month. And, and Joe signed up, and on Wednesday, and by Friday he made $3,700. That's a sucker shot. That's a sucker shot because, and it's been enhanced by the remarkable advances in technology. But as John Wooden said, You need change to make progress, but not all change is progress. Okay. And this things happen so fast here that the expectation and the desire, plus the ego not wanting to do the work, and the entitlement attitude we have, you know, we know that somebody came up with this great idea in the 70s. Everybody gets a trophy, you know. So, you know, everybody you're the last winner. There are no losers and all that. And thinking they were going to have more Steve Jobs and Martin Luther Kings and so on and so forth. We ended up with now 2 generations of entitlement, right? And so congratulations for being here. I hope some of what we said resonated with you. Your ego and your habit mind is going to lie to you about time and difficulty. It is lying to you. And so the decision isn't whether or not you have the time. The decision is, are you ecstatic and following your bliss and aware of wonder and just blown away by being on this planet? If you aren't, that discontent is that creative genius, that light in you is in conflict with the conditioning you've had. Answer this call. Fire this. Fire this. Day, do you have anything before we check out?
Day or Dave?
Day.
Okay. I just want to welcome everybody to another wonderful, wonderful year that we are just beginning to take the first step on. So happy that you're with us this year. Welcome to everyone.
Thank you. Peaches, I don't know, are you down under or are you in the UK?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Mark.
Are you down under or are you in the UK?
No, I've just arrived in the UK. Okay. Woohoo!
Anything you can share with us, with our new members?
Yeah. Well, me being a yellow, we are going to have lots of fun this 6 months. So, you know, hold on to your hats. We are in that rocket ship.
Thank you. And we have a new celebrity 2 days ago, or maybe 3 now. Arlene Lasky hit #1 bestseller on Amazon. And Arlene, what can you share? Anything you feel like sharing with anybody?
Well, I'm just happy to be here, and the author journey wouldn't have started without the Master Key Experience journey. So there you go. Great things are here to come.
And of course, we have Brad Van Lannen, who's a white personality type. We'll get our colors put on there if we can. I don't know if we can change them on here. But anyway, Peaches said we're going to have fun. She's a yellow. Okay, so, and Brad is a white, and whites are all about peace. And he has a lot more peace because he utilized this to move from the frozen tundra of green Wisconsin to Florida, and has these, you need like a forklift to pick up the cold drinks that he has. He does, Brad, what can you share with anybody?
Well, I think it's been mentioned a few times. Relax as you begin on this great 26-week adventure. And a song that comes to mind is Jimmy Buffett's One Particular Harbor, where he talks about having a profound connection to a special ideal location. And that really is what your definite major purpose is. And that's what you're looking to make a connection for here, with the help of your fantastic guide, who you will find out who that person is as soon as you get that DMP submitted. So do it now as soon as you get off the call.
Right on. Candido Bandito, anything you'd like to share?
It's just really exciting to see everybody here. Can't wait to see the best things you have for you in the next few months as they unfold.
Lori?
I'm with Peaches. We're going to have fun, guys. So that's important, right? We learn better that way. So just, you know, we'll sprinkle a lot of that in with all the science that I love too. So excited to have everybody here. Thanks, Mark.
Fabulous, Davine. How'd you get that blue heart in there? Where do you relabel?
Right by your name.
You can tell me later. Davine's a blue.
Oh, I gotta love that. You guys, these people here, I can't tell you what they mean to me, to us, to this whole process for you guys. It's a labor of love, and we all love you, and we all love finding out what your purpose is. So please get the work done. Do it today if you can. I understand if it's late where you are, but the sooner you get it done, the sooner we get moving along. And that's what we want to do. We're just, every week is just going to get better and better and better. So we're so excited to have you on board, and thanks for being here.
Yeah. For me, thanks, honey. It's really important because we kind of knock hard on a couple of things on this call, which doesn't mean that everything in your life isn't going well. So I want to make that clarification. It's estimated that about 70%, 7 out of 10 behaviors, which, let's face it, a habit is just a repeated behavior until it becomes internalized, about 70% are self-sabotaging. But the things that are going well, celebrate those and build on those. And just know that your subconscious mind, your habit mind, and this nefarious addiction to routine is going to try to get you this week. And your soul's going to try to get you. One of them's going to win. Feed your soul. Feed your soul. We're here to assist you, and it's partially for selfish reasons, because when I see people like Arlene, when I hear people like Zach, he didn't have a house, now he's got a house, he's got a retirement account. You know, when I hear him come on, he's all excited and wants to give everything away, but refrained himself from foreshadowing so that you can uncover this like other people have. And it's not a mystery, it's done that way for a reason. It's done so the decision you make to fire your head and hire your heart, it will come up this week. You will get frustrated. Getting the members, if you get a DMP in tonight, tomorrow, then you'll get a guide right away, and they'll listen to that, and they'll help you with that. Okay, that's the deal. Okay, we're in this together. Let us support the firing and hiring, right? The inspiring part. If just a piece of science for you, they've recently discovered, well, not recently anymore, the last decade, there's neurons in the heart, and more messages go from the heart to the head than the other way around. Okay, it's trying to tell you something. We had a wonderful member in here by the name of John Novello, who was a backup musician. He used the Master Key experience to get through his wife's death during the course, and he became a #1 on Billboard for jazz. And then he wanted to touch even more people because his music was touching people. And he wrote a book, and he talks about the intuitive visitor. I stole this from my wife. No, he calls it the silent architect. I stole from my wife the phrase, the intuitive visitor. And you need to invite that in. Okay. So when you get hit with the old blueprint, telling you don't have time or I'm confused, we know that. Let us help you organize it. We love you. Peace. Thanks for being here. We're off
Thanks,
and running.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks.